Hey, hello, hi. It is Tuesday, March the 10th, 2020.
It's true.
2020.
Yeah,
2020, baby.
Still sounds weird.
It does.
When you say it out loud,
it doesn't
like
roll
that.
off the tongue right.
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
2020.
It just makes me think of the long-running news magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
Video news
I
magazine.
think of Vision.
Okay. Okay.
I think,
Sure.
First and foremost.
Yeah. Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
It's the Giant Bombcast.
Yes.
Sure
Brad,
is.
Brad Shoemaker, Jeff Gersman is here.
Hello, I'm here.
Jan Ochoa is here.
Hi.
Jason A. Stryker is here.
Hello, welcome.
Ben Pack is on assignment.
Yes.
Field correspondent
Yep.
Ben Pack
In the streets.
may well be reporting in shortly.
Yeah. Who can? Who knows?
Find
That's
out
a
how
live show. Who knows?
exactly how mean the mean streets are out there.
They're pretty mean.
Yeah,
Pretty empty.
actually, yes, they're
Yeah.
they're quite nice because there's barely anybody out there.
Yeah. No traffic getting in this morning.
It was, Bart was just barren.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice, but
So
also
what you're saying is everyone is smarter than we are.
yes.
Great.
Yes, not a lot of people out on the streets.
Yeah. And this is probably
the
gonna
sidewalks.
be it for us in this building for a bit.
Yep. So
We're kind of coming in to do this show, collect some gear, and talk out some plans about what content and streaming and other stuff looks like with a work from home mindset due to the virus.
yes, the novel
It's very novel.
coronavirus.
Look at that.
I have a
novel.
question that I haven't bothered to look up. What does novel virus mean?
This is from like a single thing I read in a news story somewhere, but I think it pertains to it being in kind of a previously
single-
unknown virus.
Yeah.
So there are no immunities built up about it. There's not really any research on it. It's essentially a new virus as opposed to a new,
Interesting.
as opposed to like a new strain of existing influenza.
okay.
And SARS.
So it's literally novel.
yes,
Yep.
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
Quaint.
I think that's
Yeah.
right.
That makes sense.
Not an epidemiologist over
Yeah.
here.
Because like first reading it, you're just like, is it Novell? I don't know. Like what? No, that's different.
Is it? Speaking of, are we going with COVID or COVID?
COVID.
Everybody says COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
Everyone's just been saying coronavirus, and then when people just call it the corona, I get really angry for some reason because it just sounds real dumb.
Yeah. So you want to get some Ritas and Ronas?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Break out the limes and the salt.
That shit is on deep discount, I'm sure by now.
Oh, man. I stopped by the CVS on the way in to check on the rubbing alcohol disinfectant situation. Barren.
Really?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Like one bottle of hydrogen peroxide, and that was it.
Great.
Will that help you?
Yeah, it's a disinfectant. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
definitely will kill stuff.
Got
But,
tons of that then.
Yes.
Just don't drink it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we haven't talked through all that stuff yet, so we don't know exactly what things are going to look like. But
the idea is some live streams. In New York, they're still in the office. But
this seems to be progressing at different rates in
in different cities. Like
different cities.
Seattle seems like it is worse than San Francisco,
Yes, right.
and we're worse than New York. Though
corresponded with a PR person in Seattle yesterday who made it sound like, we are super fucking locked down up here.
yeah, but though what was it? Is it Westchester? Like there's an area of New York where this morning they just called in the National Guard to be like, hey, we're
To do what?
serious to lock. We're locking it the
locking
fuck
people
down
down?
here.
Wow.
I don't think it's like locking people down
Right,
the way that sounds. Like the headline didn't look good. You look at it and you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, man. But digging into it, it seemed more like the governor or whoever was just like, hey, we need
God
to
damn.
this pocket of New York right now. It is spreading unchecked, and we got to get in there and stop that. So that was maybe why the National Guard got called in. I don't know what the
That's
National
scary.
Guard's going to do.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a pretty fortunate position. There's a lot of stuff we can do from home.
Right. Yes.
Video games go anywhere.
Yeah, though there's a lot of like one-off
portable now.
situations. There's a lot of novel situations that we
Yes.
have to solve for in
Yes.
terms of getting the right audio mix or getting our video feed out to people and hey, like that Half-Life game's going to come out and that's VR.
Yes.
So what are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
And
Let's say some of the production quality may be up and down
will be
a little bit.
Yeah, but I think in some ways I'm thinking this might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
To just like
It's certainly novel.
It's true. I like streaming
exactly.
from home. It's just other stuff with our normal workflow. Other stuff gets in the way of that. More
for sure.
often than
So,
not.
yeah,
but,
it's,
but if that's what we're devoting our time to, then there's kind of a lot we can do.
Yeah. So we've got a handful of ideas. So check out the site. Chat will probably just be up a lot of the time.
Why not?
We'll be up on the
It's
internet
safe
a bunch. It's safe on the
safe
internet
space.
for once.
Yes.
Just don't click on anything. We got an email from the company this morning saying,
Oh.
watch out for, don't go.
Don't click it.
Watch out for phishing scams related to the coronavirus. Don't click on anything.
Yes.
I'm like, great. That too.
Information security.
Yes. So yeah,
Yeah. Interesting times.
incredibly.
Yeah. We've got a bazillion news stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have done this before the podcast, but there's other stuff on our minds. The new Ori is out this week.
It is.
I don't know if we have a lot of other games to talk about, or do we want to roll straight into news? Because there's
There's a couple other things probably worth talking about. I'm still chipping away at the Division 2.
yeah.
I've found that I've been able to matchmake into the late game mission. So I'm still playing the pre-Warlord stuff, and I'm matchmaking into like the second to last Stronghold mission or whatever it is, and finding that like I got like what seemed to be to the very end of the mission, and then one player was like, "Hang on a sec, I'll be right back." And then they stayed back, and then the rest of us died in a no respawn zone. So all we could do is spectate that player standing there.
Oh,
and eventually the other two players dropped out, and then that player dropped out, and then it wouldn't let me pick up from that checkpoint. It was like, this is not your group. You're not the leader of this group, so you need to quit if you want to make progress.
That's
And I was like,
really
wait a minute,
elegant.
what the fucking fuck? Like
Start the whole mission over?
yeah. So then I started it over and found two other people who then could not get it done either, and it was just like, man, that sucks. So I'm just going to do it solo. I think I'm just going to solo my way through it.
If those missions are as long as they were in the base game, that might be the last time
I'm still in the base game. So
Has that game been retooled to like accommodate for solo play? Because before, like you needed like a turret or you needed a group.
I think it
it's
seems better. That game seems better in almost every way. With the exception of on console anyway, PS4 specifically, load times when joining a group and just the process of joining a group when you're matchmaking for a mission, sometimes it will warp you across the map to where the other player is, because you can matchmake for a mission from anywhere.
Yep.
So what I do, and maybe this is my problem for this use case, is I go to where the mission start is and say, I want to play this mission, and I'm going to start matchmaking right now, and then run into the mission, and hopefully some people join in, and usually maybe one or two people will. And I'm already there and we're doing it. But sometimes it'll pop up and say, you got an invite to a group. And so I accept the invite to the group, and it warps me from the start of the mission to halfway across the map where they're doing something completely unrelated.
Oh, man.
Because they're waiting for players to join together. And then theoretically you can fast travel to the start of the mission. But like all those load times on fast travels are way too long. The in and out of group stuff is way too long. Like it's just clunky in a way that you wouldn't want. You shouldn't want a like group-based co-op shooter to be.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So that's like really frustrating. But overall, I'm still enjoying the game and getting pretty close to the end of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to hopefully it just rolls right into the new content, because previously there was like a lot of end game stuff for people who were level 30, where you went through like world tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of different difficulties. But I think it'll just, and at that point, I'll probably just be more comfortable just skipping. If there is content there, I'll just go skip that stuff and go jump into the New York stuff.
Do we know how long that expansion is?
It doesn't seem huge. It's, maybe like 8-ish, 10-ish, 12-ish. Matt Rory might know. He's probably a little closer to the end. But I think he's even taking his time. It seems like there's like 4 lieutenants and a bad guy. Right. So,
the warlords.
There presumably might just be the 5 missions there or something. I'm not entirely sure. But it is a whole new landmass with, this is a lot of the same side activities that you see in the base game and that sort of stuff. So there's that. We put a quick look up on the site, doing some of that side stuff, not doing any of the main missions.
Any idea? I asked this last week before you had played it. Any idea if they reused a lot of the city from the first game?
It doesn't seem as big as it's not like the full Division 1 city.
Yeah, I just meant more. Well, of course, New York is New York. Even if they rebuilt it, it's still going to look like
I don't
New
know.
York.
Like I think the streets look way more trashed up than they did before.
Okay.
In the same way they did in Division 2 base game. Like, there's just a lot of shit out there.
Yeah.
Which would make sense for how much time has passed or whatever. So it's a really great looking game. So I've been playing that.
Cool.
And Call of Duty Warzone came out this morning.
Oh.
I ran through the tutorial of that, and then
How many modes named Warzone have there been in first-person shooters over the last X number of years? just feel like maybe it's slightly
there's
more
Ground War,
memorable.
There's the Raw though is War War Zone.
Like Blackout, I don't really know what it meant in the context of a battle royale mode in a Call of Duty game, but at least it was kind of memorable and unique.
Yeah,
Warzone's
pretty generic.
It's pretty generic.
Agreed.
This is just straight up Warzone. It's not Modern Warfare Warzone.
It is, I believe it is called, well, so it launches out of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare client.
Okay.
Even though it is, so it sounds like, so as of noon today, this will be a free download for everybody. Right now, it's only for people who bought Modern Warfare.
Interesting. Wait. Anybody?
Anybody.
Oh,
this
so
is
it's
a
like
free-to-play.
It's like a separate client?
standalone.
No, I'm pretty sure what they're doing is
The way that they split everything up in that game?
Yeah, and it may be that like on console it's different or whatever, but I suspect how it will work is similar to. So with Black Ops 4, they sold a version on PC that didn't have zombies in it.
Okay.
There was like starter edition or something like that.
Yeah,
So you would buy it and then that mode was just locked out. I assume what you will download is Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but every mode but Warzone, or every mode but the Warzone stuff is locked out. And you can buy the rest if you so choose.
And again, just to triple clarify, this you've never spent a dime on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You can still download this?
Yes. Okay. It is a free-to-play game.
Wow.
Yes. As of noon today, less than an hour, that'll be something that people can just get.
And Blackout was not that way, right?
No, it was not.
It started as just for owners
it is just a part of Black Ops 4.
Huh.
Yeah. So
and they never even announced this mode officially, right?
Yesterday they did.
Well, yeah. It leaked, right?
Yes, it leaked,
Like
and
it
then they posted a bunch of stuff.
So
like
do you think
earlier this week?
Do you think if it hadn't, granted, people have been data mining like the existence of a battle royale mode in this game for like a month, but like if none of this had leaked, do you think that their intention was just to drop it out of nowhere?
Yes. Well, I mean, so it's had since I think the start of season 2. There's been a big strip on the main menu that's been like, okay, clearly there's a new mode coming.
Okay.
There's been bits and pieces where you look at it and go like, hang on, and you could get into spectator mode and zoom out in some cases. But there's definitely an aspect of like, if I look at this long enough, wait a minute, that's the stadium from that shitty co-op mission. Why is this all in the same map? Why is all of this here all the time?
Okay.
Why is it just loading me into different small portions of this larger world?
Yeah.
And you could maybe piece together that's kind of what they were heading towards. And that's what people sort of did.
Same basic format. You still drop out of a plane. Have they made any changes to just
there's a jump master? Like
oh wow. Do they use the word jump master?
I don't know. So it's like I said, I only played the tutorial, which is around some of the elements of like, here's how you equip armor and that sort of stuff. But they have buy stations. So basically like there's cash. They have two modes also. They have a mode called plunder where you're trying to like just basically get the most cash possible. And then a standard battle royale mode that seems to be fours. Quads, if you will.
No solo?
Not that I've seen. But again, like it's, early days. So, and I played it real quick and then had to run out the door. But they have, so basically you can take that cash and then go to a station and buy stuff, like a loadout.
Okay.
So if you want to buy one of your traditional multiplayer loadouts, you can get an amount of money and
do you only earn money from killing people?
In the tutorial, there were pickups.
Okay.
They'll drop money as well. Like people that, if you pick up money, you die, you drop your money as well.
I assume there's still loot everywhere. There's still found gear as well as those stations.
You'll find gear. There's stations to buy stuff. But then some guns will only come out of those loadout drops, basically. They've got an interesting idea where they've basically built Rocket Arena into it. If you die early on in the game, you will be teleported to the Gulag.
Whoa.
And it's basically like the shower from The Rock, and you will 1v1 people, and if you win, you escape.
It's not that same shower from Gun Game, is it? There's a Gun Game map that is a shower?
It might be.
Or is that a locker room? I forget.
There is a shower. I'm pretty sure there is a shower in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then at some point, so you can kind of come back once.
Okay.
That way, you can also be respawned by the buy stations. Like you can respawn members of your team there, I think, too.
Huh. Well, that's some kind of interesting ideas.
Yeah, so it seems like they've got some ideas. And then also, like, I think that was the thing with Blackout was it's really weird to do a Battle Royale mode for an annual game because there's that whole thing they did, and they, you could have potentially bought cosmetics and all this other stuff, and it's this whole map they did, and then Modern Warfare came out, and who gives a shit about last year's game?
Yeah, yes.
I wonder if by making this free to play, like if this kind of paves the way for them to like if they're really thinking about this long term, they need to be thinking about it in terms of like, hey, we're adding a new map, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And maybe that comes out alongside the annual Call of Duty game or whatever.
Maybe next year or last year was their trial run. You know, it's like, hey, let's experiment with a battle royale mode, see if it works in this game.
And maybe we get to a point where 6 months down the line, they've put the blackout map in or something. You know, like it's hard to say.
Also, I mean, like the just kind of ear to the ground. It seems like this is the Call of Duty to prop up an ongoing battle royale mode if there is one, because it's by far the strongest response to a Call of Duty I've seen
in a while.
6 years or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hell of a game.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, like I said, I only ran through the tutorial and checked out little bits and pieces of it. And the thing I'll say is that when it loaded in, I was on PC, it ran fucking terribly. Like just spinning around spinning around trying to get it all to load in or whatever. And it was just hitching up nonstop in a way that no other part of that game has for me. It was that was a little weird, but again, that's just the tutorial. So, you know, I'll get into some matches this week and see how it goes.
I saw a video going around on Twitter last night, and I don't know if this was doctored. I don't know if anybody can tell me if this is legit or not, but am I to understand that when you win this mode, the message that pops up on the screen is, get some?
Fuck, maybe. I don't know. I feel like
that's exactly what happens. Like,
we'll have to figure that out.
Somebody posted a video saying, like, this is what happens when you win Warzone, and unless they fucking took it into Premiere and added that themselves, it's just this fat message goes, get some, and then and then it says, and then it scrolls like an in memoriam list of every player who died in the match.
Oh boy.
Huh. I know some gameplay leaked out, so I didn't watch that. They put out a trailer.
This was the in memoriam list was full of like gamer tags with like different numerical digits at the end, like they were a bunch of test accounts or something.
So that's if that's how they show, that's your Activision name.
Oh, okay.
All your Activision usernames have those on them.
Okay, maybe that's what
you can toggle them off if you want.
Okay, so maybe this footage was legit. I don't know, but I think that's a pretty.
My understanding is that some gameplay footage leaked out, so I assume that's that. But
that's a pretty Call of Duty way to
get some. Is like that doesn't. I mean, you already got some.
Yeah. That's already yours.
You did, everybody.
I think the implication is continue getting some.
Continue to get some.
Yes.
How did they spell get some?
Standard.
Okay.
Yeah,
not S-U-M?
Not S-U-M?
Not G-I-T.
No.
Okay.
All right. It was very buttoned up.
Nice. Yeah. Military. I like it.
So, yes. Hoorah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's
yeah.
You know, I was thinking about getting back into Apex, so I don't, you know, I'll give this a look and we'll see. But
I might have to give this a shot too. This seems.
Yeah, it's 150 players, which is, you know, a higher number than a lot of other games. There was talk early on that maybe it was 200, so I wonder if they were testing 200 and had to scale back or something like that. But
as somebody who doesn't play a lot of Call of Duty year to year, the standard modes in this one are kind of a lot. Like you just kind of to get worked if you're not already in the rhythm of Call of Duty. Have you played some of it?
Oh, yeah. I get completely lost of what to do.
Yeah.
You shoot people?
Well, yeah, that part.
I get shot a lot.
All right, you need to not. So that's my tips. My tip number 1, shoot people. Tip number 2, do not get shot.
But like when I played,
also get some.
And I started
get some.
Back around release, I started to say when I played Warzone, but in fact it's called Ground War.
Right. Yes.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Ground War. That's the one with the vehicles.
Yes.
So, like when I played that one, it was like. I had my hands so full just trying to keep up with the pace of Call of Duty again after years away from it that like even paying attention to, much less tackling larger objectives or dealing with vehicles and stuff like that was just like, man, forget it.
That's
a lot to take.
I don't play much of the Ground War mode.
Yeah.
They did a variant of it. I'm not sure if it's up still, but you know, they're always kind of cycling new variants in and out. And there was one that was Ground War with no vehicles. And I was like, oh, actually that sounds kind of loosely appealing, except the map is maybe a bit too large for that.
Also, isn't that just Call of Duty?
But it's a way bigger map.
Well, yeah.
So it's a way bigger map, and it's more like Battlefield at that point. You know, it's like the style of map that it is.
Anyway, point being, like, you know, Battle Royale is a mode that everybody understands at this point. Like, that seems like a good, different, like, entry point to this game if you kind of bounced off the regular round-based stuff.
And making it free to play makes a lot of sense for what I think the expectations are around Battle Royale games. And it's like, it seems like it's the same battle pass that you would get for just standard Call of Duty competitive. So, you know, it's opportunities for them to do the exact same very basic monetization stuff that, you know, that all these games do.
Yes.
Though I saw something in the store that it looked like it was, so all this stuff has been cosmetic so far. But there's something up in the store right now that the way they're wording it, it's like, this gun comes with new attachments to give you the edge. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Are you adding attachments to a gun that you can only get if you buy this? Because that seems fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't buy it, so I don't know what the exact story is with that. But
How are you going to get some?
I would rather get none if that's the approach.
Case, yeah.
So
Get a lesser amount.
yeah, I get some less of some.
Get a bit.
Get a subset.
touch.
How much extra memory should I get for
Some,
this?
just some.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How fat of a download was it?
Oh, so it's if you already have Modern Warfare, it sounds like it's another 15 or 20 gigs
Okay.
on top of. But the full download, if you're getting it free to play, it sounds like they're including a lot of that game as part of that download. So,
Sure.
So that download is significantly larger.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned it briefly earlier, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps is out in like 9 hours and change. It's out tonight
I'm ready.
/ tomorrow, like midnight.
Have they shown
Cetera,
you
et cetera.
the version that they intend to put out? Yet?
So I have not. So we ran that video preview a couple weeks ago. I went and played like 3-ish hours of the game a while back, and I have not yet gotten past the point I got to with that event.
Okay.
And I waffled on how much to get into this because it almost feels like it's not fair to the game and the developer because at this point it's been patched. But when they sent it out for review late last week,
Yeah.
the state of the build was rough enough that that's why I haven't played more of it.
Wow.
I played some yesterday on PC and was like, ugh.
So the PC, I checked this morning, the PC and Xbox are at different version numbers right now.
Okay.
So the Xbox version got the day one patch last night, and as of this morning, I had spent like an hour with it before I came in, and it is much better.
Okay.
Like basically ready to go.
Yeah.
Like it's not perfect, but and again, like
And are you
I
on
don't
an
wanna,
X or are you on a?
I was on an X. I am on an X. I don't want to harp on bugs that are no longer in the game because they've just gotten patched out like 12 hours ago. But
Right.
like
Yeah.
other outlets are out there running stories like, here's why we haven't reviewed this game yet because until hours ago it was
Yeah.
too rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just major like performance and hitching problems and like straight up pausing for like 3 seconds at a time. And there was a bug where it sat at the title screen for like a solid minute after you hit the button before the menu came up. Just weird stuff like that. So I just haven't spent a lot of time with it until this morning, but like,
Yeah.
it's much better now. So, those problems, at least on the Xbox, seem mostly ironed out.
I want to see if there's anything happening with the PC version because I started playing that yesterday, and I found it. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. It's not hitchy. It's that like if you're running and the screen is scrolling, it feels like the game speed is almost slowing and speeding up. It's not dropping frames. It's maintaining smoothness, but it's almost like the pacing of the frame, like it's not quite frame pacing, but maybe it just felt very herky jerky but still smooth in a way that was incredibly off-putting.
That's weird. I played the PC version on just a straight up old 60 hertz monitor.
Yeah. I don't know if that's maybe like a high frame rate thing.
So I haven't had any issues like that. It ran perfectly smoothly on the PC. I've had one like very persistent, minor but annoying audio glitch on the PC, but other than that, it's been fine there. The first game had performance problems. I don't know if anybody remembers because it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But that game had a lot of hitching stuff going on when you moved from area to area as if it was having a hard time streaming stuff in.
Right.
Which kind of sounds like what you're talking about now. So I went into this hoping like, okay, that first game looked amazing, but it didn't run as smooth as you would have liked. I hope they've cleaned that stuff up. And then my initial experience with this was like, oh, it got worse. But one thing I read this morning that I had not remembered, and I assume this is accurate, is that the first game ran at 30 hertz for everything, like the animation, and this game supposedly defaults to 60 and can scale above that on the PC, is what I read. So it's way more fluid when it works right.
Right.
And I played them both back to back, and like the new game looks so much fucking better than the old one. Like
It's a really great looking game.
It is like mind blowing how good this game looks. Like it may need another patch or two to like fully get it there. I did have a couple of kind of 1 second pauses on the Xbox this morning. I'm getting a signal from the control booth here. Call coming in.
I think it's going out.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Hello.
Is that
Hello.
Ori correspondent.
is that our Giant Bomb Ori respondent, Ben Pack?
Oh boy.
I'm here on the mean streets, and yeah, they're just as mean as you guys thought.
How's it looking out there?
Meaner, maybe. Mean.
Yeah.
People are shoulder checking me.
Oof.
They're not even saying excuse me.
Everybody's rushing to get their hands on that Ori.
Everyone
And that
there's a line
rubbing
at the
alcohol.
door. I'm out in front of the GameStop asking people what they think about Ori and the blind will-o-wisp.
Yes. So I know both of us have been playing the Xbox PC, the Windows Store version,
Yeah.
the Microsoft version, and you're playing it on Steam, right?
I am.
Yeah. How's that version been for you?
It's been hit and miss.
Okay.
I'm waiting. There was a fairly large patch, almost a gig this morning.
Okay. So maybe you pulled that day one patch too.
Yeah, I didn't have too many issues. I had 2 hard crashes, but they were right after save points, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I've been playing it.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
I've been playing it.
What do you think of it so far?
Oh boy, I've been playing it.
What's that?
It is great.
Yeah.
I'm having a really good time with it.
Yeah.
I was, you ran that preview footage, and honestly, walking away from that, I was a tiny bit worried that they were making it way more combat focused than the original game, which had, fairly interesting combat, but it wasn't. It was really more of a like platform.
Yeah, it was exploration and platforming. Combat was just, to me, it was just kind of something you did along the way, which was fine, but not super interesting.
Right. But this one, they're really, I mean, a lot of people are going to draw some comparisons between this and Hollow Knight. It seems like that was probably a big inspiration for them. I will say that the combat in there is fun. It definitely took me some time to adjust to it. I was trying to kind of mash my way through it, but once I started to slow down a little bit and try and observe enemy patterns and stuff,
that's totally it.
Yeah, it's like almost, when you mash through it, it feels like you maybe do 2/3 health on an enemy, and then you leave yourself wide open.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. It feels almost like they intentionally want to punish you for just trying to mash it out.
Yeah,
because the enemies do have attack patterns that will slam right into you when you leave yourself open like that.
Wow.
So there's a lot of like a lot of specific dodging you need to do with specific enemies, and like watch for projectile patterns and stuff like that.
It kind of made me want like a dodge roll or something.
You
like
get that.
Okay,
you get that very quickly.
Yeah.
So you guys saw that at the end of that.
you get a dash, but it's not like an invincible.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there are invincibility frames.
Yeah. All right.
But it does give you very quick, snappy horizontal movement.
Yeah.
Back and forth, which is super useful. I'm surprised how much I have been really enjoying the combat so far. Like you can juggle enemies in a way that even coming away from that preview, I didn't fully get my head around until I really spent some time with it at home. Like you can really just stay in the air if you chain your attacks right. Between like medium and light and attacking up and down, you can just sort of keep enemies off the ground and just stay up there, and it's super fun.
It's got a really nice downward like aerial attack that doesn't keep you in the air. You can't like pogo, but it'll give you a little momentum so that you can use that to carry on to like a basic 5-hit combo. I like the weapon variety. I've unlocked like 3 of the combat focused skills. These are skills that you're kind of swapping between on the fly. You have like 3 buttons you can program them on. And at first I was a little worried that like, oh, I'm not always going to have access to my heal and the bow and the heavy attack. But the more I play, the more I realize it's not that sort of game. It's a game that you got to be ready to kind of switch up what you're ready to do on the fly.
Have you been doing that? Have you just like remapped attacks to face buttons right in the middle of a fight?
Yeah, mostly to get access to the heal.
Okay.
But one of the skills I unlocked was the sentry, which plants like a little, it's almost like a sentry turret. It just kind of plants an orb that will automatically attack anything that gets near it. And so I'll like, for, more sedentary enemies, I'll swap. And the swapping's really snappy. Like if that menu wasn't so quick to be able to switch between skills, it would be a lot more annoying, I think.
Yeah, you're basically holding a trigger, highlighting the ability you want, and just hitting the face button you want to map it to. You can do it in like half a second. Technical issues aside, I've been super impressed with it so far. It seems dramatically improved over the first game.
It seems neat.
Also something I didn't really notice until I played it. Even watching the video of you playing it was just like how good this game looks in motion.
Yeah,
the way the art kind of like, there's a lot of good ambient effects. There's a lot of good just straight up art. The backgrounds and the creature designs are really cool. There's like a lot. The world feels very lived in. there's a lot of creatures, large and small, which Metroidvanias sometimes struggle with that. It's like, oh, I'm just exploring another big open cavern with a bunch of enemies in it, but they do a good job of making this feel like an actual forest, and
Yeah, tons of really good like environmental effects and animation, and like the way that like it looks like a 2D game. It looks like hand painted or whatever, but it's still got a lot of 3D like lighting type stuff going on.
I occasionally found some areas a little hard to parse in terms of
I was going to say,
it's like it is
darkness of the forest. Is like, is this can I walk here or no?
It is so dense with detail in spots that I have like occasionally sort of lost enemies in all the foliage and stuff like that. But I think you kind of
or like walked into brambles.
Yes,
or like hey, this is an edge that I was covered by something, but I thought maybe there would be something. No, this is not a traversable area.
Yes, I've had a little bit of that too. It seems like something you just sort of get a feel for.
Yeah, so when you can hit the back button and pull the map up at any point, but like if you're looking for something that's very close to where you are, like, hey, is there a path? Is this pathway down or is this wall here? Your icon of where you are is too large, and so it covers that part of the map a little bit too much. Even if you zoom in and out,
the icons stay the same size, but the map shrinks or grows, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, that was frustrating a couple of times. Like trying to figure out like, oh, is this a path I should be taking, or oh wait, this isn't. I can't even tell. I need to walk away from this area and then pull the map up and go, okay, no, that is not an area.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it can be especially frustrating because this is a game, unlike the first one, that has like actual quests and side quests, and it will mark on your map, like go over here, but sometimes it's hard to see.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So there are a lot more cases where you're specifically trying to go from A to B, and I find myself, for whatever reason, hitting the map like half a dozen times every time I start somewhere and want to get somewhere. I have to keep stopping and checking to make sure I don't know what it is that makes it a little harder to learn your way around the environment, but overall, I'm super impressed with it so far. I'm really excited for maybe another patch to come down. it runs pretty much fine on the Xbox One X as of this morning. Like the frame rates can still chunk up a little bit when you're fighting 3 enemies at a time. Like it can still get a little tiny bit hitchy. I would say it probably runs on just about any decent PC at this point, and if you buy it, you get it on both. So I would probably lean toward the PC version if you have that option.
I think, well, I don't know,
except for this issue
something
you're
about
having.
That swimmy motion thing that I'm getting is like it's a deterrent.
Yeah, I don't know what's up.
That's weird. It seems very woozy. I don't know. It's like a motion. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe a little rough around the edges technically, it seems like, but the underlying game seems extremely, like the music is incredible again.
Yeah,
visually is incredible.
Really strong stuff in there.
Yeah. So if you're sensitive to performance and stuff like that, maybe give it another week to see if they fix it up a little bit more. But I
am sensitive, but I can't wait.
Yeah.
I need to play
and it's on it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you just get it. So there's no reason to wait there if you just want to download it. But
I will say I have a general tip, something that kind of hung me up early on. Just try and hit everything. If you're ever at a dead end, if you ever don't know where to go, just hit anything that looks like it could break.
There's one spot in particular early on, and I don't know if you ran into this, where it's not really clear where you need to go next to kind of progress the story, and the path that you need to open up is like behind a thing you have to break that looks absolutely just like part of the environment and not breakable. Like it is extremely not obvious that that's the thing you need to break to move on.
Yeah.
So there is some of that. It's occasionally a little bit like style over functionality in terms of environment design.
And also, the first time it wants you to grab an object and pull it, it doesn't show you the tool tip for pushing and pulling until you're standing right fucking next to the thing.
You get right up on it.
So if you see a thing that looks just disjointed from the environment enough to where maybe you could pull it, just know that you can.
Yeah.
Just get up close to it and it'll tell you what button you need to hold down.
There are a couple of minor speed bumps as you're sort of getting your head around the game and how it works and stuff like that. But as Metroidvanias go, it seems like a pretty damn good one. I'm super excited to play more of it.
Yeah.
All
right. Thanks.
Ben, we want you to get out there and really shake the bushes, get to the bottom of this story, see what's going on in front of this GameStop.
Do you know where the wisps are?
No,
they don't know where the wisps. I gotta go find out.
Ask him if Reggie is there.
Do you know Reg? No, Reggie, the Bigfoot pizza guy.
Yeah. All right. You get out there. You stay on the hunt for Reggie. And let us know what you find.
I'm on the hunt for the Bigfoot pizza guy, a.k.a. Reggie. I'll get back to you guys next week.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, intrepid field reporter. Any of the games you guys want to touch on? What else y'all playing?
Man, my son won't let me play anything.
No?
Well, I mean, no, in a good way. Like, he wants to play with me. Like, whenever he sees me playing something, he wants to play as well. So we've been playing a lot of like fighting games and stuff.
Okay, we'll get him started early.
Getting him started early, but I let him win a lot because he just gets the biggest smile on his face. So it's like, how can I break his heart? I'll wait until he's a little bit older.
Yeah, you got to show him how the world works.
Yeah, at some point.
You got to whoop his ass.
At some point, yeah.
Protect him from the mean streets for a little bit.
Better it comes from me.
What is the fighting game of choice?
Grand Blue Fantasy.
Okay, yeah. I could see that being a pretty big hit with.
Yeah, because you can just mash out combos and stuff and easy.
That's
easy
out on
attacks.
PC tomorrow.
Oh,
right?
13th.
13th. Okay, so later this week.
Yep. Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
Let's
13th.
call it Friday.
Ooh.
PC seems like a pretty big platform for fighting games these days, which is super weird. But
Maybe not necessarily in a tournament sense, but they at least all come out there.
It's definitely the second biggest platform, I guess.
Okay.
Like,
maybe it's just people I know. Obviously, they're not going to drag a bunch of PCs to Evo if they don't have to, but a ton of people I know seem to prefer fighting games on PC these days.
Yeah, PS4 is the biggest for sure. But there's so many that are not coming out on Xbox.
It's kind of wild that
and that's
they're putting in the
changed
resources to put out a PC version, but still not putting out an Xbox version.
Yep.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Ball came out there.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a ton.
No.
That's Japan for you.
Yeah.
I get it.
Stick to PC. How else are you going to mod Master Chief in place of your fancy anime lady?
That's a great point.
Yeah. So
yeah.
All right.
I've been exploring a mystery dungeon actually. In the meantime, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX came out last week.
Yeah, kind of. I'm not going to say totally out of nowhere because they announced it 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
But
I think it was on the E3 Direct.
maybe so.
I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a remaster of the original 2 games that came out on the GBA. So that's like Fire and or Red Team and Blue Team. And it's very much like the other Mystery Dungeon games. Like the one I'm the most familiar with is like Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. Yeah. So it's a roguelike.
Oh, is it like literally from that series?
Yeah.
Like the Mystery Dungeon is
like Torneko and all those.
So like we have a Mystery Dungeon franchise page is what you're saying?
I believe we do.
I think we do. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a roguelike, but with Pokemon in it instead of other characters. It works exactly like the same. So every dungeon you go into is randomized every time you go into it. If you were to die, you lose everything you get in that specific run. There's a banking system where you can bank your items, your money from run to run if you don't want to carry that in with you. And it's, just done through the guise of Pokemon. And I don't know if I'm maybe just not a fan of this style of game, but the combat is a little weird because there's no real specification of turn order other than you being on top of your stats of who in your party's faster.
Fastest, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't remember from Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, but in similar roguelikes, was there like an auto mode? Any of you remember?
Well, you mean for battles?
So auto mode in terms of like exploring the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, because like if you hit like the left bumper, this will just go into an auto mode.
It'll just start walking around for you?
Yeah, whether like it's exploring for like items or like the next, like the stairs up or down.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mystery Dungeon, like that style. I generally will like a roguelike game in that format, but there was something specifically about a lot of the Mystery Dungeon games that I found off-putting for some reason.
Sure. One of the off-putting things for me is like the art style in this. It's kind of like a pseudo watercolor fairy tale book, and I thought it would work well with Pokemon because of like the cartoonish designs, but it's kind of jarring in some places.
Sounds to me like you don't like Pokemon.
Yeah, maybe I hate Pokemon now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
maybe
back
you just
on
hate
the
mysteries.
I'm thinking I might hate mysteries or dungeons. Yeah, either one of those.
Mysterious dungeon.
But I've read that a lot of people come to this series because it's one of the few times where Pokemon games have really good stories. So I'm assuming the auto mode there is kind of to help people get through the monotony of traversing the dungeons to just get straight to the story or whatever, which seems kind of like a weird way to handle that.
It's just it's one step closer to a Pokemon VN.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get into that. Yeah. Who knows? The game starts with like a weird personality test to determine what Pokemon you are.
Is there a volcano in the front?
I want to say that, well, I guess this is a remake, so yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So due to my personality, I'm a Squirtle. You know?
I've always said that jam.
I can see that.
Squirtle vibes.
Thanks, guys.
You really do give off
Cool
a water,
sunglasses.
definitely give off a water type kind of vibe.
I don't know if I'll stick with it. I haven't been having the most fun with it. You're recruiting a party as you go along, so you're not just stuck with your starter Pokemon from your personality test.
Does it feel like they have been pumping out Pokemon games at a much steadier clip the last year or so than?
I think so.
Because like when did Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee come out? Was that about a year ago? It was like
about a year ago.
Early last year.
What is ooh?
But it was last year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like those came out, or maybe it was like late the year.
Might have been
Late 28. Anyway, like those came out, and then like the actual Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Right.
And now this is out. Granted, this is not exactly the same thing, but
And on
like,
top of that, there's been like a bunch of mobile games dropping left and right.
And like Home, even though that's kind of a different thing, but like it just back in the day, it always felt to me, it's like, okay, we're gonna get like 1 or 2 sets of Pokemon games per generation of console. And
well, you got to remember the N64 got its share of side games with the Pokemon Stadium games and with Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mean more recently.
But yeah,
maybe I just missed a bunch of handheld stuff that didn't stand out. But it feels like they've really been
on the handheld. It was just the main games
that's what
and
I
then
mean.
Mystery Dungeon.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it was N64 specifically was getting a lot of that side stuff.
Yeah, I just mean like pre-Switch, it felt like it was like years between Pokemon releases.
I don't remember a lot of releases on the Wii U, but I feel like GameCube had a couple of like Coliseum-like games, like Gala Darkness, I think was a name. That sounds familiar.
Sounds like a name of a thing.
Yeah.
We're probably also seeing like a compression of it because Nintendo is just supporting one platform instead of 2. So everything's coming out on the Switch. So yeah,
they did it.
They did it.
Their insane dream came true.
Yeah. Maybe I don't like roguelikes. Who knows?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of people might be getting there.
There are a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of them. And this is like it's a long running specific thing with the Mystery Dungeon stuff. But yeah,
I feel like just in the last like 6 months or something, I see new indie games get announced that happen to be roguelikes, and then a bunch of comments that just like, it's a roguelike, no thanks.
I want to say that's like been 2 years
maybe
or something, not 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it seems like maybe a backlash has begun to form.
Yeah. I think procedurally generated content cuts both ways, right? Like when it's done well, it's a game you can play forever. When it's done okay in a world where there's a bunch of it, you're like, fuck, why bother? Just hand author some cool shit.
Yes, just make a game, let me play through it, and be done with it.
Yeah,
I get it. Y'all got any other games you want to get into?
Nah, man,
can't think of anything else.
Okay,
video games are over.
Yeah, just like everything else. It's been fun. All right, let's take a quick break. We got a bajillion news stories to get through. So we'll be right back with those.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. That's right, Blue Chew.
Blue Chew?
Blue Chew.
Blue Chew?
That's right.
That rhymes, did you know?
It does. You know what else I know?
What's that?
Sometimes people need a little bit of help to increase their performance.
Yeah, to get by.
Yeah, and their confidence in bed.
Oh, what's going on there?
Rock hard dicks. That's what's going on there.
Oh, okay.
And that's what Blue Chew enables for you,
what are you gonna do
dude.
with this? Yeah, me?
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean me?
Well, I mean, like, if a theoretical person.
The royal you?
The royal you.
All
the
of you.
listeners out there.
Everyone listening.
That's right. If you're looking for a little bit of help, getting ready to go, a little bit of extra confidence, BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. The Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis.
Wow, I've heard of those.
Yeah. It's the real stuff. FDA approved.
Yeah.
This is not street stuff. This is not street overload. This is not, you don't get this at the truck stop. You get this from doctors over the internet.
Government sanctioned.
That's right.
Performance enhancement.
Yes. It will make it happen for you anytime, day or night.
This is not an Olympic sport.
But hey, man, it might go as long. You might go a full 4 years. Who knows? Who can say?
You don't know what kind of plans you got.
Who can say?
Yeah.
You can take them anytime, day or night. Like if you got a full stomach, it still works. If you're like, hey, I just ate.
That's how powerful it is.
Now I need to get this dick hard.
Cuts right through there.
You can just chew it. It works up to twice as fast as a pill, so that way you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
At the drop of a hat.
You could
at
be
the chew of a pill.
arisen with Blue Chew. So, if you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew's fast. It's an easy way to enhance that performance. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. Blue Chew's made in the United States of America.
That's right. You can trust it.
That's right. American hard-ons.
Yep.
The hardest of dicks.
A long tradition.
And Blue Chew prepares and ships direct. It's cheaper than a pharmacy and no awkwardness. You don't have to go talk to a doctor in person and be like, I got a thing with the... No, this is all online. You fill out some forms. You can talk to a doctor online, make all this happen.
You know what you need.
You know what you
Just
need.
get down to it.
That's right. Get down to it so you can get down to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right now, we've got a special deal. You can visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment for free.
Whoa.
Free? American hard-ons.
Wow. What a country.
All you pay is $5 shipping when you use the special promo code BOMBCAST.
Oh?
That's right. Free American hard-ons.
Who could say no to that?
Who could say no to that? That's BLUEchew.com, and the promo code is BOMBCAST, and you can try it for free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice.
Faster?
Faster. And we thank them for sponsoring the podcast.
An audio network with the faux J-pop or perhaps stand-in anime theme song.
It's good.
This week.
There's so much.
There's just
good.
nothing they can't do.
Yeah.
It's really something.
There's a versatility there.
Yes, there is.
Not a lot of
regional
video
hip-hop.
game raps, though.
Not so much.
Yeah.
We've looked.
Maybe there's an opening.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
there's probably an opening.
There's an opening for video game raps and regional hip hop. I say we get in on the ground floor.
Uh-huh.
We cover
Regional video
Hotlanta.
game. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We
I like
cover the hyphy movement. We bring that back through Audio Network.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Someone needs to.
We have to.
If not us, who?
The market for royalty-free facsimiles doesn't know what it wants. It's up to us to tell it
Yeah.
what it wants.
Wow.
And what it wants are fake video game raps. And a bunch of news.
Great.
Which I have here
I
in
love
front
news.
of me.
I hate video game raps.
Okay.
So
None of these stories are about video game raps, so you're in luck.
What? That's what I came here for.
A bunch of them are about COVID-19. I just kind of grabbed a handful of stories that we will just group together real fast here about some of the effects of the pandemic on different stuff. GamesIndustry.biz had a piece last week talking to the head of Streamline Media Group, which, first of all, I've never even encountered this concept before. It's a code development firm,
okay.
which basically sounds like a more formalized version of what you used to consider outsourcing
Oh, okay.
to other countries for art assets and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially a company that handles that in a much more like a broader and more formalized way.
So they're like facilitators for like they represent a lot of like an art studio in China that might sign up with them.
That's what I thought, but then there's a reference in here to this company itself having a huge number of employees. So I think they may actually just
have the
employ the artists and the developers themselves.
Got it.
Interesting. Okay.
It sounds like this is just from reading this one story. It kind of sounds like a way of giving the people doing that work a little more credit, I guess I would say, instead of just saying, "Hey, you're just outsourcing labor to somebody." It's saying, "Hey, these are co-developers of your games.
Yeah.
Like, these people made significant contributions to these games, even if they work for a different company in a different country." Anyway, Alexander Fernandez is the head of Streamline Media Group, and he essentially is saying that we're going to see a bunch of game delays in the next few months over this.
So not just hardware.
Yes, Like there has been talk about manufacturing and shipping capacity being impacted, and that might.
And that's been speculative so far.
Yes, that might affect console stuff. I would be shocked if the consoles actually like the dates changed or anything like that. But there has been some talk about that stuff. But DICE just happened.
Right.
And he came back from there saying, "You can see the virus is taking over the industry. Pretty much every meeting I had ended up with some form of, 'Do you have resources? I need help.' Things are crazy right now." This is from DICE.
I didn't realize how much like outsourcing was done like in China. And wow,
Yeah, that's
impressive.
Yeah, he did this. He says that something like equivalent to about 2/3 of the external development outsourcing supply is located in China.
Wow.
And they've been thrown completely out of whack. Like he's talking about some studios over there are like actually forbidden by the government from entering their studio at the moment and stuff like that. So this is happening now, but like the actual effects of it are going to take some time to manifest.
Right.
Like he says, those working in development are already seeing or feeling it. I believe it will take a quarter or two for the extent to become glaringly obvious through missed dates or development delays. Yeah. It's a situation where people need to be able to get projects done, and some companies couldn't even go into their offices without approval from the Chinese government. We're talking about thousands of people, not a couple of hundred. I think we're really going to start feeling this in Q2, Q3.
And this is like in a year where hardware is launching and you've got these kind of drop dead dates for making it out for launch and a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you've got studios that maybe haven't quite figured out what the flow is for making stuff for new platforms. So they're probably going to be more likely to lean on external resources to make sure that they've got everything they need, whether that's art or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a bad recipe. That all adds up to a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, we'll see
for game releases.
Yes, could be some delayed release dates coming,
or some incredibly hot products coming in fucking smoking, scorching.
Super low supply.
Yes.
And then
crashing and burning on the shelves.
Game development is not an easy process in the best of circumstances. So feel for people who have to contend with these extra factors in the process.
Man.
One console that we know is being affected, perhaps the most important console. The TurboGrafx 16 Mini has been delayed.
No!
Yeah. It was supposed to be out on the 19th of this month, so it was supposed to be out in 9 days.
I kept looking at Amazon. I didn't know if Amazon had taken pre-orders already or not, but the page on Amazon was just kind of consistently like, we don't know when we're getting this.
Yeah.
And we're not taking orders right now. And it's supposed to be an exclusive at Amazon.
Oh.
So that seemed weird.
Is it just the TurboGrafx over here? Can you only get the PC Engine version in Japan?
Oh,
can you get all three versions here?
I mean,
I think there's also a Super Graphics.
Yes, there is. Yeah, or there's a Super Graphics or there are Core Graphics. I forget which.
It might be Core
because the Super Graphics played different games or could play 5 more games or whatever it was.
Wait, what was the Core Graphics?
The Core Graphics was like a stripped down PC Engine, like a redesigned PC Engine. Like it was like a Slim almost. I want to say they maybe changed some video output stuff on it from like RF to RCA or something. I don't know the exact change.
They say Konami, in fact, says manufacturing and shipping facilities in China have encountered an unavoidable suspension due to the outbreak. As a result, the delivery of all TurboGrafx 16 Mini products will be delayed until further notice.
So nobody knows what the hell's going on.
So that's a little ways out, sadly.
Yeah.
And then the last story I've got here in this little roundup is the city of Los Angeles has declared a state of emergency, which prompted the ESA to put out another statement about E3, which is kind of, pretty standard, pretty similar to the last time that they addressed this stuff, which is basically just monitoring the situation, still committed to. ESA continues to plan for a safe and successful E3 show, June 9th to 11th, 2020. We are monitoring and evaluating the situation daily.
Yeah.
They listed the guidance that the city of LA has provided, but they say they are moving forward as planned in light of this news. It's 3 months off.
I feel like a couple of weeks ago, I would have said, we'll be out of the wood. This will be done by June.
Yeah.
Surely this won't be impacting this sort of stuff by then.
Yeah.
I'm less certain of that now.
I don't think it'll be gone in 3 months by any means.
Yeah.
I would definitely think we'll be over the major, like the curve will have, we'll have passed the curve.
Yeah. But
by that time.
But will we still be, by June, will we be in a situation where international travel is something that is totally fine and was like, whatever, we're just doing it again.
Right. Yeah.
Who cares? And all the, hey, Nintendo is flying out to E3
Tough to say.
Like those are the major those are the things that would cause a big problem, a bigger problem than E3 already has this year.
Yes.
Is if you've got major companies overseas going like, oh, we're pulling out. And maybe it's for the other reason of just like because America hasn't gotten it together yet or whatever.
Yes. Definitely.
Or because Japan is still spinning out. Like Japan is not in terrific shape right now, as I understand it.
Yes.
But
a lot of unknowns right now.
Yeah.
Nobody can say for sure.
But at the same time, like, this kind of, there's a non-zero chance that E3 gets canceled this year.
So if this was purely in the context of the outbreak, I feel like my mental 8-ball would be like, outlook fuzzy, ask again later.
Yeah.
Nobody can say. But this dovetails right into the next story, which is I Am 8-Bit.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe them? How do
they make cool
themselves?
art?
Yeah, like,
remember that book? They made that book. That was them.
They like literally the cool art book.
Yes.
Wow.
The pop-up.
Have they really been around that long?
Yeah.
Man. Like I remember when they. Oh, actually, their Twitter account, is that a 15-year anniversary graphic? Yes.
Like I Am 8-Bit has been at this for a long time.
Their
They've
Twitter
done a
account,
lot of different stuff.
Their Twitter account literally has a 15th anniversary graphic as the
They've been doing some stuff for quite a while.
God, yeah. Like I remember when they first started up, but we were still at GameSpot then.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were well, I just spoiled the story. They were the creative directors of E3 2020. This tweet went out from them on late Friday, or on end of day Friday, close to it. It's with mixed emotions that I Am 8-Bit has decided to resign as creative directors of what was to be an evolutionary E3 2020 floor experience. We've produced hundreds of gaming and community events, and it was a dream to be involved with E3. We wish the organizers the best of luck. So,
anyone care to speculate?
this was, well, keep in mind that, was it when Jeff Keighley announced he was not going to be part of E3 that the ESA put out the release saying, hey, we're partnering with I Am 8-Bit
Right.
to reimagine the show? Was it
around that time?
It was around, or maybe it was.
I want to say that
actually, maybe that was around when that partial list of exhibitors leaked.
Yeah.
Like there have been multiple instances of damage control done by the ESA over different aspects of E3 over the last.
But that was something that you saw when, like, well, like I still think that a lot of what we think of as the plans for E3 this year sounds sort of like a shit show, but.
Like that,
I Am 8-Bit generally does cool shit.
Yeah, they're a cool outfit. They've done a lot of good stuff. But specifically, I remember that release coming out kind of the day after one of those kind of bad pieces of news happened.
You're probably right.
As if they were positioning it to say, "Hey, we're partnering with people who know what they're doing."
Something that's like legit cool, not like marketing cool.
Right. And here we are, like a month or 6 weeks later. And those very partners have publicly announced that they are withdrawing.
So that's so a couple of key phrases in there. If you still have that tweet up, it says decided to resign.
Yes. With mixed emotions, decided to resign.
Okay.
And then also at the end, we wish the organizers the best of luck.
Yeah.
Very much feels like, hey, we're out.
Yep.
Good fucking luck.
Good luck with this thing.
Evolutionary is also something that I look at as like. No one wants to be, but no one wants to be part of something evolutionary.
Yeah.
You want to be part of something revolutionary.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've been using that word since the beginning.
Yeah.
The ESA has.
And I think that's just dumb on their part of just like, no, well, yeah, of course it's evolving. It technically evolves every year. You don't need to, like,
Yeah. So here's where I am at with this. Between Keighley and this happening publicly.
Yes.
Think about what must be going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Like if these entities are willing to get out there and withdraw in this kind of fashion, like I can't even imagine what the planning looks like that's not public.
Well, I wonder how far the stuff with, because how long has Keighley done that? And that's been like, it's broadcast on YouTube. It's been like the E3 Coliseum where he just sits down and does interviews with a handful of people from inside and outside of gaming.
Yeah.
It's been like celebrity focused in a way. It's like,
it's only, I mean, he's only been doing that, 2-3 years?
Is it? Yeah, it's been a few years.
It's not been that long.
Last year, he did that big Gamescom opening night thing, which like Gamescom very much wanted to present as a very big deal. And, so maybe he's just focusing there too.
I mean, he used some pretty pointed language back when he announced that he was not going to be part of it.
Just kind of said like, hey, the direction was not in line with.
Yes. And
yes.
And I feel like this tweet is a lot more buttoned up and professional, but it's very much leaning in the same direction.
I feel like the language around the edges of there is you could read a lot into that, and maybe we're reading too much into it, but I feel like that too much lines up with everything else that we've heard or has been stated or whatever, on or off the record. Like I don't think they have known for years what they want E3 to be. Yeah. I think they are trying to find someone to solve that problem. I Am 8-Bit, I think, is capable of solving some of those problems for sure. Like, you know, they've generally been able to make cool stuff, but if you put that against what they've stated they think E3 should be this year, if we go back to that leaked pitch deck and kind of spin out from there, like that, like I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, imagine the show that like the ESA presented to I Am 8-Bit that caused them to go, nah, son.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Exactly. It's just like, no, we don't want to put our name on, like, we're not going to clean this up and make this cool for you. This is inherently uncool. Yeah. Like that's my guess.
Yeah, that's my take from it as well.
I'm going to plant my flag here. I don't think E3 is going to happen.
I might be with you.
I am pretty much ready to put money on E3 not happening. At least not in like a physical. Everybody show up in LA.
And it's not capacity. Just like the COVID stuff. It's I Am 8-Bit.
I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah, that's part of it. But of course, but it's not just.
Like you mix this really tense situation around all this travel and people getting together at big conventions, getting canceled left and right, and all this turmoil behind the scenes. Like I would just about put money at this point on there not being a physical E3.
I think some of that will depend on, you know, they've already signed up. Like, you know, there's money out. There's money lost if they don't do the show for reasons of we don't have it together. But
yeah, well, now they have an out.
Exactly. Well, so maybe if things get to a point where okay, the city has declared a state of emergency, that starts to give you some sort of like wiggle room with your contract in terms of like, hey, there's a, you know, we mentioned on Friday, like that whole like force majeure clause that a lot of these contracts will get, one way or the other. Like that starts to at least get you on the phone with your insurance people or whatever and be like, hey, what does it look like if we pull out of this?
Yeah.
And so you could almost see, you know, if we want to go full conspiracy, then you start to see a situation where they go like, oh, under cover of the virus, we actually get to take a year off and try to actually figure out what we want to do.
Yeah.
But I really think if E3 doesn't happen this year, or if it largely happens online and more companies move to like a direct style format or something like that with a less of an emphasis on the physical show itself.
You could see them organizing some kind of digital something.
But if they give all these publishers an opportunity to see what the world looks like without E3, it will never happen again.
Yep. Completely agree.
Because I think they will look at it and go like, wait, we were spending how much money, how many millions on booth space for this thing? And what did it do for our bottom line at the end of the year? Yeah. Like now that they'll actually be able to walk that through, my gut is that they'll, if the show doesn't happen, like a lot of publishers that would be on the fence about it will look at their bottom line and go like, we do not need this show.
Yeah.
Or at least we do not need to invest in this show as heavily as we have been. And maybe maybe it has a PAX-like presence or something where we're like, oh, well, we'll set up some kiosks and have some people there, but like we're not going to do we're not going to showcase a bunch of new unreleased stuff. It's just like, here's the Division 2 DLC, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't forget the ESA is catering to a different constituency than like a PAX, which is direct to consumers, right? I mean, like companies exhibit at PAX, but like PAX exists to bring people, fans in, like you're selling tickets directly to them.
And so
whereas the exhibitors, what I mean is the member companies of the ESA essentially prop up the ESA, right? Like it's just a lobbying organization.
Yeah.
So like if there's some revolt or some turmoil behind the scenes with, you know, Sony's been out for 2 years, Microsoft is no longer on the premises, neither is EA. Activision is
that's a bigger deal in the case of EA than it is for Microsoft. Microsoft is across the street. They're still part of the ESA. They're still you still use your E3 badge to get into the Microsoft space.
But they have plenty of options.
Yeah. Microsoft is big enough to where they can do whatever they want with or without E3.
Right. Like Nintendo is the only one of the original 3 hardware makers that is still fully in and has a physical presence inside E3. You know?
And if international travel seems iffy, they would be a company. I could see Nintendo being a company that would go like, we don't want to do the foreign travel.
Yeah.
And I could see them B saying, and if we're not going to have our Japanese office represented here in a very major way, we're not going to let the U.S. office run it either.
Right.
And they pull out.
Yeah, that seems like
all I'm saying is that E3 is less about catering to individual attendees and more about the whims of the companies that make it go. Because if they have no confidence in where this thing is going, then it can't go.
And the changes E3's been going through for the past couple of years, as I understand it, is pressure from the member companies saying you need to make this show more relevant.
Right.
And this has been them as they try to let the public in and try to do this different stuff, trying to find ways to make E3 relevant again, because those member companies, those exhibitors, are putting pressure back onto the ESA and saying, like, this show is not meeting a clear need anymore. You need to do something about that.
Yeah.
And what they've done so far, I don't think has changed the conversation. If anything, I think they've exacerbated the situation. So,
yes. Since this tweet went out, I have come to believe that seems like the most likely thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I officially tipped over.
Yeah.
After this. Like having your creative directors resign in public 3 months before your event.
Yeah.
Like I feel like at this point I will now be surprised if it actually moves forward as it always has in the past.
Yeah.
But we will see.
I hope it does. I enjoy going to that thing. Well, I hope we are on the other side of the virus stuff.
Would you still enjoy going to it if it had turned out to be what all the leaks have implied it was going to be?
I don't give a shit about the show floor. I haven't for years. I want a lot of people who work in the game industry to collect in one city so that I can interview them.
Well, yeah, there is.
And I don't give a fuck about what's on that show floor.
But how many of those people will suddenly no longer show up when it's
that's the problem?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There is a chicken and egg problem here of if those companies start feeling like this format is no longer worth their time,
and they don't send people, then we've got a problem for booking a show. Absolutely.
They stop investing the resources to get show builds and demos ready in time, and like the whole thing collapses on itself.
Yes. If you're not showing a show build of the game that is not ready for the public to see, you don't necessarily need members of the dev team out there to talk people through it or all that other stuff. Like there's very much a knock-on effect there.
Like you've heard,
but as I've said, the only thing I care about is I need that event to be something that is relevant enough to drag a lot of video game people into LA for that week so that we can interview them.
Yeah, I get it.
And you know, if it's fucking like stand in line to take a picture with, you know, one of LeBron's teammates, like I don't give a shit. Like fucking whatever, go for it. Who cares?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those people are only there because of what E3 is supposed to be.
Yeah,
and if it stops being that, then they don't show up anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
I wonder when we'll get definitive answers on all this stuff. Have they started taking signups?
I thought it was supposed to be mid-February that they were starting to.
They may.
Yeah, because I think industry people are starting to get rejections and stuff saying like, "Oh, you don't qualify
I did see that going
for
around.
A complimentary pass because you apparently don't work in the game industry."
Yeah, we get our
clearly do.
We get our badges through the company now, so
yeah.
So we don't have to keep up with the media registration anymore. So I wasn't sure, but
I don't know if media registration is opened. I know like exhibitor
maybe that's what it
is out there, or just industry passes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. All right. In other news, GeForce Now we talked about a little bit last week. We've talked about it off and on for the last handful of weeks since they kind of came into. They entered like, I don't know what they're calling it, like an open beta or kind of pre-launch launch sort of situation.
It's out there. You can pay for a tier of service. It's discounted.
Yeah. But they are using language about like some, you know, this is some kind of introductory period. Right. It's not their kind of launch.
Yeah.
And that stuff will change over time. Anyway, Tim Sweeney from Epic has gotten out there saying that he is all for it and that Epic will be supporting it very directly. Also, since last week's show, 2K has pulled their games off the service, in addition to Activision and Bethesda. So obviously some companies...
And they haven't given statements about it, right? It's all been NVIDIA saying, hey, these games are no longer available.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is, I want to see the statement out of the publishers about why they're uncomfortable having their games on the service, whether they've like, oh, well, we're potentially... And I think in a major publisher case, you'd have a lot of situations where they may be weighing out options for like, oh, we want to exclusively be available on this streaming service.
Yeah.
And you being out there doing this is fucking that up.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Here's what Sweeney said. Epic is wholeheartedly supporting NVIDIA's GeForce Now service with Fortnite and with Epic Game Store titles that choose to participate.
Yeah.
Like that's, I feel like, pretty key language there. So they're still allowed to opt out.
They're not going to force the hand of anyone on their store.
Yeah. He says that's including exclusives and will be improving the integration over time. It's the most developer-friendly and publisher-friendly of the major streaming services with zero tax on game revenue.
Yeah.
Game companies who want to move the game industry towards a healthier state for everyone should be supporting this kind of service. This part's pretty good. Cloud streaming services will also be key players in ending the iOS and Google Play payment monopolies and their 30% taxes. Pretty interesting that he uses charged language like taxes here, but anyway.
You got to remember that this is the same Epic that did not put Fortnite on the Google Play Store and instead is getting people to sideload Fortnite onto Android devices.
Oh, I know.
Like, they've got a real chip on their shoulder.
No, I get
with that specific thing.
I get it. I don't know if you can call it a tax if it's not a government entity, but
well,
anyway,
yeah,
he knows what he's doing, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is the tweet I really wanted to get to. Just waiting till later this year when Google is lobbying against Apple for blocking Stadia from iOS, while Google blocks GeForce Now, xCloud, and Fortnite from Google Play, and this whole rotten structure begins collapsing in on itself.
Yes.
So
let it all come tumbling down.
Yes, seems like a big mess here, but
yeah, it's.
Also, let's see. He responded to a few people in this thread, and there was one answer in particular I thought was interesting. Let me try to find it here. Okay, here's somebody responded to him saying, I love the idea of GeForce Now, but it's a little obnoxious that they just support Steam titles of the same exact game that I own on on the Epic Game Store. Obviously not Epic's fault, but really hope this changes. He responded saying, the integration between Epic and GeForce Now will improve over time to automate this for all participating titles.
Cool.
So, I don't know how that's going to work exactly.
It sounds like that they're, and this is something that I think Epic could do and subsidize for developers if they wanted to, is find a way to authenticate you are this Steam user and you are this Epic user, and we are unlocking any game that you own on Steam. We're moving over. That was something EA was able to do.
Direction, because he's talking about games that they bought on Epic that they don't own on Steam because you can only play the Steam version on GeForce Now right now.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. So he said basically, but if they're going to support Fortnite and all the other stuff, then basically what he's saying is well, the Epic Store, and Epic Store, I think it does work in some capacity, doesn't it? Because it wasn't just Steam; it was like Steam and GOG, and like
maybe so.
Uplay. Like there were a handful of other services that were supported. So
I'm not sure exactly what the technical aspects of this are, but anyway, he's trying to make it sound like they're trying to get to a point where just, hey, if you own the game anywhere, you'll be able to play it on there.
So that would be something that I think would even work outside of GeForce Now. You could see a scenario, and I'm not saying they're doing this, but you could see a scenario where Epic finds a way to authenticate your Steam account, and which they've done. They've let you import friends before. I don't know if they're still. I think they're still doing that. I think you can still tie your Steam account to.
I don't think they took that out.
You would think that there would be a way to authenticate what games do you own on Steam, and then unlocking those on Epic if it is supported by the developer, because that'd probably be a call that they would be able to make as well. Yeah. But basically saying like, okay, we're going to port your purchases over to the Epic Store. Please use our store more often, like as a way to just get people to own more games on their storefront and get them thinking about it more. The same way EA did when they launched Origin, but they did it with CD keys because they already had a way to authenticate all that stuff.
Right.
That's something they'll have to do for Rocket League, won't they? Or because. Like I want, they put out their last patch for the Mac and Linux versions of Rocket League,
right?
But I thought at some point, and I could be crazy here, but I thought at some point that like the Epic Store version will be getting more updates than the Steam version, or
might be right.
Like if they're gonna do commerce around it, I would assume that they would want to try to eventually push that commerce of keys and crates or whatever they're going to do going forward for seasons or whatever, try to move that further in the direction of, hey, go get the game on the Epic Store. Right. We will move all your boxes and whatever you own on Steam. We will authenticate that over here if they're not doing that already. Because you have to have a Rocket League ID or whatever, because it's crossplay now, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So they would know who you are on Steam through your Rocket League ID. They could, in theory, make sure that you have parity of all of those unlocks.
Yeah, I haven't tried it.
And maybe migrate people over that way. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'll look into that.
Weird times with all that stuff.
Crossplay, yeah, like
cool. It's cool that they're thinking about it though.
Like crossplay is kind of a mess this generation, and as more and more games take it on natively. Like it's kind of the nice thing about the kind of the next wave of that stuff with stuff like Modern Warfare. Like those games seem much better thought through from the get go in terms of like how their crossplay experience works and all that sort of stuff. Street Fighter V, I think, actually did it pretty well too.
Yeah.
But even still, like in Call of Duty, I have 2 different premium currency balances depending on which platform I log into, because each store wants to have their own, they want to get their cut.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. On with more headlines. Still got like 8 of them. Google has opened a second studio for exclusive game development for Stadia. This one is in Playa Vista near LA. And is going to be run by Shannon Studstill, who I guess was head of Sony Santa Monica when they made
God of War.
The most recent God of War. So she's definitely got chops. Jade Raymond, who runs Stadia Games, posted a blog about it. I had totally forgotten this, but they already opened one studio in Montreal.
Yeah,
a few months ago. So, like on the one hand, good to see them getting behind exclusive game development. On the other hand, like it takes a while to make games.
Right.
And if they're just now building these studios up.
Like, you would think that this is something that would have been in place
already.
It
would have been nice for this stuff to have gotten started sooner.
Maybe they should start hiring people to start promoting their games on their service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously this is going to take some time to bear fruit.
That's too much time, man.
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, in a normal world, you would think it would be fine. It's just Google's track record, I feel like all anybody can talk about with Stadia now is Google's track record of shutting stuff down.
But even,
it makes you wonder, it's like, this could easily take 2 to 3 years before a game comes out of the studio. Like, is Google definitely
going to exist then?
Are they definitely going to stick with this brand and this product that long? I'm sure the people that run Stadia are committed, but
of course,
somebody up at the alphabet level.
But also, like,
how do you be like, nah?
How do you put Stadia out in any form without any of your own game? Like, if you intend to do your own development, like how late in the game they came to that, like the Montreal studio, even.
Yeah.
By the time they got around to announcing that, it was like, wait, what? Haven't you been doing this for a while?
Yeah.
Like, don't you have games in the like? What the fuck are you doing?
Especially because they showed some footage during that GDC presentation a year ago, right? That sort of implied that exclusive game development was going on, but I think that was probably more of a tech demo they were showing off. But
it's just bizarre, man.
Definitely made it seem like they had stuff in the works already.
Serious Sam collections on Stadia now.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, cool.
Those games are all right.
I'm definitely in a believe it when I see it kind of mentality with Stadia right now. Like I've canceled my subscription and everything. I'm just waiting for something.
But they haven't even started making good on some of that stuff around like, oh, it'll work on it. Like they haven't even pushed to the firmware to update to regular Chromecasts, right? Like you still need to use their Chromecast.
So. Wow.
You have game developers out there in theory working on a Stadia game that fucking can't get Chromecast out of Google. Like it.
I didn't know about that. I thought for sure they had gotten that done.
It's fucking bizarre.
That's crazy.
Like that iOS app has not been updated to have any further features. You can still play on Android phones. I think that app has been updated once or twice.
Yes,
but not not necessarily in ways that like, oh, this is way more feature rich or whatever. Like they have that Google Assistant button on the controller. I still don't know if that worked. That didn't work when they first sent it out. But that was the thing where you're supposed to be able to like,
give me a walkthrough
hot
for
cheats, whatever the fuck it was. Like there are just aspects of that they showed that are just still not live or close to live or
all that like take me to the YouTube guide for this exact
take me
spot.
to the YouTube. It's just and I think for me the weird part is like there are people in that organization that have been doing this for a while.
Oh yeah,
that you would think would not they're messing up left and right in a way that you're just like, I don't understand why this had to happen this way. This seems like this could have been handled better. I don't get it. Like that to me it's just surprising that this is still almost more or less exactly how it was at launch.
Yeah. Yes.
Or to the point where people don't even call that a launch anymore. Hey, they're selling it. It launched. It's a bad launch, but it's a launch.
On the platform end, that stuff is bizarre.
Yeah.
They do seem primed to potentially recruit a lot of good talent for these studios, though. Obviously, both of those.
They've got the money to do it, but man, not
just the money, but also those areas obviously are like absolute hotbeds of development talent. So.
You have to wonder, like, people going into those situations, like accepting jobs at those studios, are they going in thinking, man, I'm going to work on something really big and special? Or are they going in thinking this is going to pay really well for like 2 years, and then we're never going to ship anything, and that'll be a good 2 years for me, and whatever, I'll go work somewhere else.
I'm sure to a lot of people that go work on this stuff, it is kind of a roll of the dice. Like, I would think, unless there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Just because of the way this service has launched and the way Google is.
I feel like
you just don't know.
Every behind the scenes thing I've heard about the process of developer support and all that sort of thing has not sounded good.
Yeah.
So maybe for their internal studios it's different, but man.
Yes. Cool. Indeed. All right. Let's move on to a platform holder with a little more experience in the biz. Talking about Sony. Here.
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation Blog ran an interview with Herman Hulst this morning.
He
was the new head of Worldwide Studios as of a few months ago, I guess it was. Just to cut to the chase, he confirmed also, we're at the point now where I can no longer keep track of what has been leaked and what has been announced, like officially.
It's been like that for a bit now.
Like basically this interview came out, and halfway through the interview, he just randomly sort of confirmed, well, it wasn't random, of course, this is fully planned, but he kind of out of nowhere confirmed that Horizon Zero Dawn is in fact coming to PC. And I looked at this and I was like, wait, didn't they say that like a month ago? But no, those were just leaks. Basically, they asked him, like, is there anything you can tell us about the future of Worldwide Studios, et cetera, et cetera? And he's like, we're very committed to dedicated hardware as we were before. We're going to continue to do that. At the same time, we're going to be very open to experimentation, to new ideas. And the interviewer says, speaking of experimentation, there have been rumors of a Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. Yes, I can confirm that Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC this summer. There will be more information coming from Guerrilla pretty soon. The interviewer says, PlayStation is no stranger to publishing titles on the PC, which I'm trying to think.
Helldivers? No.
Helldivers came, yes. Did they publish that? Like Death Stranding is 505, so that's not
right.
Them.
But
I guess they have done some
technically
stuff.
Sony Computer Entertainment for Helldivers.
Maybe
it might be. I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
The question is, Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the largest games to make this leap. Is there anything you would say to PlayStation fans? What does this mean for the future? He says, I think it's important that we stay open to new ideas of how to introduce more people to PlayStation and show people maybe what they've been missing out on, and to maybe put a few minds at ease. Releasing one first-party AAA title to PC doesn't necessarily mean that every game now will come to PC. In my mind, Horizon Zero Dawn was just a great fit in this particular instance. We don't have plans for day-and-date PC releases, and we remain 100% committed to dedicated hardware.
Does your mind feel more at ease now that you know that they are not going to do the thing that Microsoft does?
When I read that, I was instantly like, whose minds are you talking about here? I'm not sure who's going to be happy that these games are not coming out on more platforms.
Weird fanboys?
Yeah, like that's the only actual answer to that question. But anyway, there's your, at least for now, your confirmation that they're not going PC whole hog like Microsoft has.
More people should, whatever. More people should get a chance to play Horizon Zero Dawn. So that's cool.
Yes,
and
hopefully there will be other examples of this stuff, even if it's not a like firm policy on everything.
Yeah,
but it's nice to hear some of that stuff spelled out a little more. As we still haven't had a major reveal for the PS5 yet.
Any other?
Man, that's got to be like nail biting too. In light of everything that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
For them to, because what was their statement? They're like, we're going to be at hundreds of different events over the course of the year.
Yeah.
And like that, watching that event calendar just fucking dry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, even before the chaos with E3 and the pandemic and all this stuff, there was that Bloomberg story. I think you were out a few weeks ago saying that internally there's disagreement about how much it should cost, and that people are inside Sony are sort of staring down Microsoft, waiting to see what they do.
Yeah. And there was some aspect, I want to say, within the last day or two of people starting to maybe float the idea that there will be 2 PlayStations, similar to 2 Xboxes. I don't know if there's, I don't know if that's sourced from anything reliable or not, but you know, everyone's saying everything all the time.
Yes. That does, to me, that doesn't seem like something Sony would be into, but
I mean,
who knows?
They did it this generation. Just
that was a staggered release. I'm talking about 2 different SKUs on day one that have different capabilities. It seems unlike them.
It does, but so does putting Horizon on PC. Yeah, so I think, you know, so it's putting baseball games out on other game consoles. Sure. So like, I think in a generation where all the rules are going to get rewritten in favor of services over boxes to some extent.
Yeah.
And different companies will fall with different positions on that scale.
Yeah.
Anything's possible right now, man.
Yes, indeed.
It's hard to know where people are going to push stuff. So
yes,
we'll see.
Let's see. The existence of a new Star Wars game appears to have possibly been leaked on the European PlayStation Store.
Oops.
Some bot that somebody runs out there that just scrapes and aggregates PlayStation Store data caught a new product being entered into the PlayStation Store called Maverick. But then when they pulled artwork that was attached to this entry, it was a big fat image of a logo that says Star Wars Project Maverick.
Big fat image.
In a big Star Wars-y font.
Mm-hmm.
With Star Destroyers and lava, which looks like the planet Mustafar and all kinds of stuff.
It's where you get the high ground, right?
It is. Yeah. That's right. If you have the high ground, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Everybody knows that.
What about if you're in a spaceship, though?
Oh, I don't know.
The ultimate high ground.
Really have the high ground.
Shit.
Wait, but there is no high in space, though, right?
Oh, you can get high in space.
Oh, relative. Ooh.
Space high.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. Yeah, obviously nothing beyond this image to really give us any indication of what this is about.
Didn't they once upon a time say something about like they had 2 projects?
Yeah, that was actually pretty recent. That was on Kotaku. That was in that story where they talked about the like 3rd Star Wars game in the last 2-3 years to get canceled at EA. But at the end of that story, they closed very briefly saying that they know of 2 Star Wars games that are currently in development. One of them is a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order at Respawn. And the other one is, quote, a smaller, more unusual project at EA Motive.
So
this very well could be that.
Yeah.
But no real.
I'm trying to think as to why something would end up in a live PSN database with a. Well, I guess it happens, right? So you wonder, like,
it gets announced, and then you want to take pre-orders, right?
There's that for sure. So you would want an entry into the store database soon.
Yeah.
But with a placeholder name and placeholder artwork.
Yeah, that's like, weird. That's project
a little weird.
Yeah.
So then you start to wonder, like, okay, is that something that like they're getting into the database now because around the E3 timeframe they're going to release a thing?
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Or release a demo, or put out some kind of content that they would need that page in the database for. But
sure.
I don't know. There definitely were cases during the Xbox 360 era where we would catch achievements for games that had wrong names. Like MK versus DC was briefly in the 360 system as Mortal Kombat 8.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
For a smidge of time there. So you would find profiles out there of like QA people, or I don't even know. Basically, like I had a list of profile names that I knew were like, these are EA's internal testing.
Mm-hmm.
I will find achievements early here, and different test profiles. And then you had hackers out there who were just like adding title IDs to their gamer tag, like hacking achievements basically.
Okay.
And so you could add games you hadn't played to your gamer tag and then sync it with a server and see what comes back. And so I don't know how some of this stuff got out there, but yeah, there was literally like Mortal Kombat 8 achievements at one point.
The world is a lot more observant now. You can't get away with that stuff these days.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to notice. But occasionally stuff still slips through. I'm trying to think what this could even be.
Yeah.
Just scrolling through Twitter responses to that bot, people were floating like, maybe it's like a Rogue Squadron remaster or something like that.
But, yeah, maybe it's some re-release type thing that would
fit with the kind of smaller project that Kotaku was talking about.
But like Motive is traditionally, they've always presented Motive as being like a storytelling studio, where they work on the story aspect of a game, and maybe like Vancouver does the dev work. I'm not quite sure how that stuff is split up.
Yeah,
but
this could be something like that,
or it could be So
hard to say.
Han Solo side story.
Yeah. EA has dropped unannounced games at E3 before. I wonder if this could have been something along those lines, or could still be planned for that time frame. Any thoughts on this mobile missile command?
It looks kind of cool.
I kind of like the look of it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think the gameplay of Missile Command makes sense on a touch screen.
Yes, yes. I don't think you need a trackball for that.
You just kind of point to where you want it to go, and boom.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
What's it called? Missile Command Recharged is the actual name of it. It's got it's got almost a somewhere between a Pac-Man CEDX and a Geometry Wars kind of look to it, like retro ass game with like neon kind of vector looking art that I think looks kind of neat. Just not a lot of original games coming out of Atari these days.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but I don't know. I think this thing looks pretty cool.
Yeah, out in the spring, I want to say, right? Not too far off.
I was looking for that.
Free and a paid version.
Yeah. I lost the release
free
date.
with ads or whatever.
Oh, okay.
What's coming out first, the mobile missile command or the hotels?
The mobile missile command
probably
will actually come out.
Probably. Also, it's you're right. It is. There is a free version with ads, or you can just pay and get rid of the ads. I'll play that.
Yeah.
The Nintendo PlayStation auction finally finalized. It has been sold.
How many millions of dollars?
Not so many.
Not so many?
Far less than one, in fact.
Whoa.
It went for $360,000.
That's a lot less than millions.
Bought by the founder of Pets.com.
Nice. Oh my God. They still have money?
I had completely forgotten.
I thought they lost all their money.
No, that company ceased to exist like 20 years ago, apparently.
Right.
But the guy who founded it made a shitload of money on it.
Oh, okay.
So he bought this thing. I've never seen it. I've seen like endless people on Twitter sort of like mocking or rolling their eyes about this, but I don't think I ever saw it actually confirmed that supposedly the owner of this thing turned down like a $1.2 million offer on it.
So they
could auction it.
Yeah.
That was the word going around. And now in light of this, you have to wonder, did he actually get that offer or was he
that just trying to goose the value, perceived value?
Because you would imagine that anyone that showed up with 1.2 million would show up with 400,000.
Yeah.
Or maybe this was the guy who offered the 1.2 and got it for 360.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Maybe he just vastly overestimated the demand for it.
Yeah. So it's like in light of all that and like, you're kind of hearing about the stories of this, 1.2 million or whatever for like a while now. I came away from this auction vastly underwhelmed. Just going like, whatever, man, 360.
Yeah.
Man, we could have tried to pull some money together and got it. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Just to tighten our belts on CapEx for a little while.
Exactly.
And
we stop eating. No more bagels on Friday. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Shit. I definitely have had a perception of this thing as kind of like the ultimate video game collectible. Just because it is so rare and also such a weird piece of like almost history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Almost history.
There's also...
things would have gone so differently in the games business if this thing had not fizzled.
Yes. I think there's also a bit of an unknown around just how many of these there are.
Yeah. I can't remember where I read this.
Micah said something on Twitter recently that was just like, it's the one that that y'all know about.
Yeah.
Basically,
I've seen it implied that there might be quite a few of these prototypes around,
or at least like more than the one.
Yeah,
more than you think.
I'm sure. Like numerous ones were produced back in the day.
So who knows? You'd have hardware variants and stuff like that in there as they continue to iterate. Like who knows?
Yeah.
But point being, like this concept of this Nintendo PlayStation, the SNES CD-ROM add-on.
Yeah.
is kind of the basis for that MSU1 standard that exists for ROM hackers.
Yeah, that's cool.
As they add on FMV and CD quality soundtracks and stuff like that. Like there's a SNES version of Road Adventure, the Laserdisc game, that you can play in this format, and it's it's at least similar in concept.
Yeah, there's that Link to the Past hack out there that seems like people put a lot of work into. It more or less seems like what a CD version of Link to the Past would have been like. It's got hand animated cutscenes and CD quality orchestrated music and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
of the mid '90s CD add-ons. The Pets.com guy is Greg McLemore.
McLemore bought it?
No relation.
Did you go to the thrift shop to get it?
Maybe related.
Does it smell like piss?
Very possibly. It's definitely yellowed in exactly the way that you would expect it to be. It's definitely half of it, and the power button or the eject button or whatever that is. Got
McLemore sucks so much.
Got that nasty.
He won Grammys, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Oh man,
shit ass hip hop. Give that motherfucker a Grammy. Is it like mainstream accessible in even the slightest sense? Grammy him up.
Great.
Yeah. Bunch of people out there since this auction closed, exhorting this guy to donate it or at least lend it to a museum, which it doesn't sound like he's going to do, but he does say he is opening his own museum.
With just this one piece.
Yeah.
Some pets.com memorabilia.
Yeah, so I guess it will remain more or less in his possession, but at least it's going to be, he talked to Forbes.
Okay.
He talked to Forbes about it and says that he is planning to found his own museum to show off his collection, so hopefully it will be accessible to people in some fashion.
He's got a killer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collection.
Yeah. Just hang on to it for a while. Like, honestly, like, how much enjoyment are you going to get out of it? I think that thing's already been picked apart and, dumped in the relevant ways, because I think the BIOS was on an external cartridge. So, like, that stuff got out there. Yeah. Like, the relevant data about this from a preservation perspective, I want to say that work's already done.
Yeah.
So, in light of, like, there's, like, one game that someone released in various formats, including, I think, one that in theory would run on this. I don't know what else there is out there. So like how much enjoyment are you realistically going to get out of it?
Totally.
Other than just like looking at it and going like, man, I got this crazy thing.
Yeah, this is full on
hell of a deal.
This is full on put it on a velvet pillow in a glass case and gawk at it.
Yeah.
Like that's
or but I feel like how you do that for some length of time, and then you either I think you hit upon two conclusions. Or at least I would. I don't know, man. I would hit on either, okay, it's time for me to sell this thing and, like think about it as an investment, and can I get more than that out of it now that some time has passed? Or straight up actually just give it to the strong and put it in a museum.
Do the right thing.
Belongs in a museum.
Do the right thing. Give it to the strong.
Well, who knows? Maybe this museum he's talking about is going to be, free and open to all or something like that.
Man.
Who knows?
No.
Let's hope.
No.
Maybe I'm giving him too much credit.
Yeah.
You never know.
Macklemore.
George Lucas is doing it. EA is out there starting to promote the new Command & Conquer re-release.
Yeah.
And
June.
Yes. They put out a trailer just this morning, actually, of the actual game. Kind of breaking down, 4K graphical assets for the action, better FMV, stuff like that. They also put out a video of them trying to remaster the FMV.
Yeah.
This is pretty crazy.
Because FMV is the thing in Command & Conquer. I mean, whatever, I understand. Yeah. Some people like to play it.
It's a hell of a game.
I was more of a StarCraft guy, personally. But
that's a different era.
Nothing against... Wait, really?
CNC and
well, I guess it was more
Warcraft.
contemporary with the first Warcraft, sure. Or even Warcraft 2. When did the first CNC come out? 95. So, all right, that's right around Warcraft 1-2 timeframe. There were still CNC games coming out around StarCraft.
Definitely, but if we're talking like original straight up Command and Conquer, you can't talk about StarCraft.
I was more of a Blizzard guy, is what I mean.
Fine.
Just as I was a
you missed out on the FMV.
Just as I was a Sierra adventure game person to other people being LucasArts.
Yeah.
I was Blizzard RTSs to Command and Conquer.
I was playing all that stuff.
Springfield, Shelbyville. You get the picture. You should go watch this video about them trying to fix up the video if you haven't. Like, it's really goofy, but The gist of it is that they uncovered a bunch of the old ass tapes in some weird kind of proprietary format.
Like a weird Sony format.
Some Sony. Those aren't DAT tapes, are they?
No, I don't know.
DAT is audio.
Okay. Anyway, whatever type of, they found what they thought were the original tapes that all the FMV for those games were shot on, and found, like, I guess it was really hard to find a company that even was capable of digitizing those.
There was like one on the West Coast.
Right. And they had the tapes digitized after this search and found that the tapes just had copies of the shitty compressed versions that were in the actual game to begin with, that they could have just ripped out of the games, which they were trying to avoid doing because they are terrible.
Yep.
You know, using 25-year-old video compression.
So they ended up having to use the FMV from the console versions because that's scaled better than the PC stuff,
right?
Which is fucking mind-blowing.
Done like better impact compression for the console version.
That makes sense. I was going to say, because when they did like CNC Gold or CNC 95 or whatever for Windows 95, like they probably did some bump in video quality around then.
Maybe.
And then, maybe they would have had to do full screen or do something better for console.
Crazy.
So.
The other fascinating thing about this to me is that they straight up used an AI-driven scheme algorithm to upscale the existing video, and it looks pretty damn good.
This is happening now.
It's been out there for like 2-3 years now in the community. Like people using machine learning AI type stuff to, you know, you see like trying to think of an example, like the PlayStation era Resident Evil games, like they'll upscale not FMV, but the static images used as backgrounds in those games, and they come out looking like incredibly sharp.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of like the DVD version of Deep Space Nine run through these kind of processes, and it comes out looking like alarmingly close to actual HD footage.
And so Pixelmator Pro for Mac can do it for static images. Like it's got a machine learning like up-res feature.
Yeah, so this stuff is getting like so shockingly good, and it felt like I've been looking at this for a long time, just going like, all right, when are commercial bodies going to start using this in actual products? And it seems like we're finally getting there.
Man, that'll be interesting. Well, how much do they show in the video?
There's a lot in that. There's a lot in that trailer that came out this morning. Like, it looks pretty good.
Cool.
Pretty good.
For Kane.
The Kane. There's a shot of him in that footage. He's just wearing like a normal ass looking button up shirt.
They're gonna, up-resing that footage is not gonna do it any favors.
Like most of the footage, people are in like fatigues and like really flamboyant looking military
Kane's the leader,
uniforms.
Man. He's
and then
more of a.
And then here's Joe Kukin just wearing a fucking button down.
Yeah, he's more of a spiritual. Like military
just
leader.
Like, did he just walk in off the street and shoot this? Like, no, there was no wardrobe here.
He's like, well, I am Kane, and this is what Kane would wear.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He's more of a casual cult leader, I suppose.
Business casual cult leader.
Yeah. All right.
All the most devious cults are business casual.
Yeah. Last story. GameStop is going through apparently a pretty major shuffle of their board of directors. It seems like if I read this press release right, something like 6 of the members of the board are retiring over the next like year and a half or something.
They're doing a refresh.
And I mean, obviously GameStop itself is like very much trying to figure out what the hell their path forward is.
You think?
6 more people out at Game Informer.
Oh wow.
Today.
Oh, I missed that.
Along with, I don't know which part of it, but the publisher.
I haven't checked my Twitter yet.
Kathy, I don't know if she has left the company.
Okay.
And yeah, Andy wrote a thing for the website today.
Okay.
And also kind of just mentioned in passing that 6 staffers were also
that's unfortunate.
let go, but I don't know if it's editorial or what aspect of the Game Informer business it was. There was nothing specific.
My stomach just dropped out. God damn it.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
Anyway, this press release leads with the appointment of one Reginald Fils-Aimé to the board of directors of the company, along with a couple of other people who have also made their names in business. But yeah.
My business name.
Yes. As we alluded to earlier, Reggie.
Jeff Gersman, LLC.
Yes.
Corp.
Every one of these, let's see, there's William Bill Simon, James J.K. Samanchik, and Reginald Reggie Fils-Aimé. You have to have a nickname.
Oh yeah,
if you're gonna be on a board,
if you're be on the GameStop board specifically, you got to have a gamer tag.
Yes, if you're gonna be on a board, you have to have your business name,
the real Reggie,
and your golf
420,
and your golf name. Anyway, yeah, like he retired. He's been doing some speaking engagements and investment stuff, and now he's.
Did he retire? I thought he just went into investment banking.
He used the word
like everybody else.
That's what I thought.
He actually used the word retirement when he announced it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of that's the story. Like,
what do you do on a board?
Kind of the oversight committee over kind of the CEO's boss, I guess
you meet like once every so often. Yeah, you're just like,
oh, you mean like what do you actually do?
Yeah,
day to day.
Yeah,
I assume they get together and
it's not always I think different boards are going to be different. I'm guessing, but like you have people that'll be out there that are on 5 different boards of directors. Right. So it's, not something that's going to take 40 hours a week.
You think these guys are approving Funko Pops or yay or nay?
Probably not.
Okay.
Let's say they have probably some kind of C-suite
bigger stuff.
Product person.
What's bigger than
overseeing
Funko?
that stuff? Yeah, like they're like pictures have been getting out recently of like concept stores for GameStop that include like straight up PC bong type stuff,
Yeah,
which just
parlors.
I haven't seen any of that just yet, but yeah, full on more like kind of like gathering communal
social space,
social like get together and play a bunch of games together type stuff.
I really don't think that's going to do anything.
I don't know.
That's something that I feel like you could have at a locally owned
maybe
store, but something about this is the corporate meeting space. Like that doesn't sound like something people would gravitate towards.
I mean, I guess that would be my gut reaction as well, but also stranger things have happened.
There's definitely people that like to hang out at GameStop.
Absolutely.
So,
or just hang out at places with video games.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially networked ones that you want to play with your friends. So who knows? Maybe there's more demand for this out there than you might think.
Yeah.
That stuff certainly is huge in Asia and continues to be.
Do you think Reggie has internalized the full-on about face he will have to make as part of this regarding his stance on used games?
Huh. Oh, has he been out there in public on that topic?
No, I can only assume that as like running Nintendo, would be like, these used games, damn it. And now, like, man, it's power to the players. Am I right?
Especially a company that mostly deals in like single player games that you can play through and then be done with. I could see that. Sure.
Though one could argue that used games might not even be like that's not part of their long-term future as things move further and further in the digital direction. Game sales is not going to be the thing that saves GameStop.
Yes,
it's just weird to think, but
this press release on news.gamestop.com happens to have a handy stock price widget at the top. So I can tell you that the value of their stock is currently $4.13.
Okay.
Which is up 11%.
Yeah, that went up when I checked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was $3.58.
I guess.
Well, everyone's kind of bouncing up today after yesterday was on fucking fire.
The new bull market on this news.
That's right. Charging forward.
On this news of Reggie joining
Get your money in there.
It's really turning things around. So yeah, I guess we'll see where that goes or doesn't. All right. That's all the news I have. That was a lot of news.
It's a lot of news.
Stuff
Lots
going
of
on.
news.
Nice to have stuff happening.
Things happening out there. All right. And on that note, we're going to take another quick break, and I'm going to pull up this browser tab in incognito mode so I can log into this email account.
Oh, no.
So we can read some emails. Emails. I've got a pile of them.
Where?
What is a what is a group of emails called? What is a flock of emails?
A flaggle.
Just like an inbox.
A novel of emails.
An inbox of emails? Okay. I've certainly got that here. Somehow ended up with a bunch of them.
A maiming of emails.
Okay. Andrew from Richmond, Virginia.
Hey.
I've seen this idea floated a lot. With the coronavirus wreaking havoc on people's ability to get toilet paper, is now the time that we collectively start thinking about making the switch to the bidet. I've been thinking about it for a few months now and have found ones that you can attach to your existing toilet starting at about $30. However, I'm a bit hesitant as I've never used one before.
Is the $30 bidet just a garden hose?
Right.
Just seems
just the bucket.
Yeah.
Do any of you all have experience with one? And if so, do you like it? Thanks for keeping spirits high during these troubled times.
I've never used one, but I want to.
I tried one once, and I felt like I used as much toilet paper after the fact. I'm like, now I'm just soaking wet everywhere.
Yeah,
I've only ever encountered them abroad. Just not a thing here.
Yeah. Is there like a lot of pressure?
I think it depends. I think there's all kinds.
Huh.
Yeah.
My understanding
if
is
you need that, I think you can turn it up.
My understanding is you can get ones with quite a bit of pressure.
Okay.
The ramen shop up the street has a bidet in their bathroom.
Oh, yeah?
And it terrified me.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I felt clean afterwards. But I did feel like I needed to use a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Why is toilet paper the thing everybody's...
Because they don't want to go out.
It's not... No, I know, but I mean, but why that? Because it's like, it's not any one kind of food stuff.
True.
It's granted it is some first aid like disinfectant type stuff, but it seems like the thing that everybody wants and nobody can get is toilet paper. I don't know why that's the one thing that people targeted.
You need Grubhub toilet paper?
If you run out, it's a bad time, I guess, for everybody.
True.
You know, you run out of paper towels or stuff that you're generally using you can wash your hands and not dry them.
Sure.
It's not ideal, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Dry them on the back of your shirt or something, but can't wipe your ass with the back of your... I mean, you could.
Yeah, you could.
A lot of different types of food you can subsist on.
For us, it's been like diapers, stuff like that. Thinking like...
You've been eating diapers?
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of diapers lately.
Time to switch to cloth.
Yeah.
I have seen some people speculate like, what if this is the thing that collectively makes America as a culture accept the bidet? If it just becomes a thing. Because apparently they are pretty cheap and easy to install.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, those toilet seat like add-ons like the washlets and stuff like that are
you can get
a lot more prevalent.
You get all kinds of stuff like heated toilet seats and all kinds of other weird controls on there.
Some like LED lights,
Control panel on the side of the toilet was definitely one of those things in Japan when I first went there like 15 years ago that was like, whoa.
Control on the side of the toilet?
Oh, yeah.
How do you see it?
You can lean over.
Like it varies, I guess.
Okay, all right.
For heating and water flow and all kinds of stuff like that.
I want to take a picture with my phone and then...
Like I remember going to what was the Best Buy equivalent we went to over there? It's like a Yodobashi camera or something like that.
Yeah.
And they just had like rows of high-tech toilets that you could browse.
High-tech toilets.
Yep. Joe from Iowa. Throughout the entire Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, Barrett refers to Cloud as Soldier Boy. This got me thinking, what would a Final Fantasy VII Remake look like if Soldier Boy was the protagonist? What would his limit break be? Is he kissing Tifa or Aerith through the phone?
Wow.
Do you ever leave Midgar, or do you get too caught up selling knockoff Shinra products?
Yeah, you get arrested. You're not so much like I'm trying to blow up these reactors or whatever. You're just like, I got this Nintendo, but it's not
actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Shinra company doesn't look kindly.
But also you can rewind time in that version of the game.
That's true.
As much as you want.
Yes, that's fair. Yes.
I rewatched that video for the first time in a long time.
What, his Braid video?
Yes. Yeah. His Soldier Boy's video on the video game Braid.
Was that a live video?
I don't know.
Was that a stream back at a time when live streams weren't really much of a thing?
I don't know.
I can't remember if he did that live or not.
But I will say it holds up.
Okay. All right. I've neither seen that video nor played Braid in a very long time, but that's...
I cannot tell you if Braid holds up.
That's good to hear.
But I can tell you that Soldier Boy video definitely holds up.
That is good to hear. Shane from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What do you think is the reasoning behind Sony's continued silence on the PlayStation 5? They seem to start out more open, with Mark Cerny talking about some hardware details almost a year ago, but have since gone dark. Could this point to some delayed production issues, or just the change in management from the launch PS4 era?
They just don't know what they're going to do. They don't know what it's going to look like. They don't know what kind of games it's going to have.
They should probably figure that stuff out.
They should figure that stuff out now.
I don't know. I don't have a good speculative answer to this question.
I feel like they probably had a timetable, and I bet that, like you said earlier, I think there's probably some aspect of just like trying to figure out what the competition is going to do.
Yeah. If you remember, the last consoles were the first time that an Xbox and a PlayStation have launched head-to-head.
Yeah.
On not the same day, but basically within like a week of each other. And so that probably is going to be the case again, and it sounds like these things are pretty similar to each other.
And also, I think everyone's been you know, it's like some of the same places maybe pushing the rumors about like maybe there are 2 PlayStations also presenting as part of that. You know, it's because the base model is not as powerful as the Xbox Series X. And so if they get out there with specs now, they're not going to look impressive by comparison, and all this sort of, you know, there's some kind of business chess happening, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But also it's now set against the backdrop of a pandemic that is potentially interrupting their ability to have a big public gathering to make the announcement and all this other stuff. And the uncertainty around that is certainly not helping. Supply chain stuff, you know, then you layer that on top, like they could have had plans in place and totally had them ripped apart by the stuff that's going on around them.
Yeah, sure. Maybe.
So
even just real world factors notwithstanding, the whole thing just feels a little more high stakes this time than it did last time.
Yeah,
I feel like last time we were coming off all the predictions of like mobile gaming is the future. Nobody cares about consoles anymore. These are the last consoles. Like this is going to be a non-event. And then they came out and like, oh no, people still like consoles. So like now the business is like confirmed to be very healthy and popular. And it just
now they don't want to fuck that up,
right? And also just high stakes in terms of competitive. You know, people are
and you know, like I think, and again, I think what we were saying earlier, like the battleground has shifted in a lot of ways. Where Sony had really great messaging, or Sony had good messaging to counter Microsoft's incessantly bad messaging around launch time or in the months leading up to launch. Like Sony benefited greatly from Microsoft fucking themselves.
Yeah.
And you know, had the right message at the right time with the right people in place.
Sure.
They also had a more powerful console, point blank.
Yeah.
And they were able to ride that wave of, well, this is a more powerful machine. Why would I get the Xbox?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily think about that in the terms of like, you know, we all remember like the resolution stuff and like, the Xbox has the wrong RAM and, you know, like all this dumb.
Yeah. Like anybody who thinks that's the reason that the PS4 was successful is deluding themselves.
Well, but also
it helped.
Yeah,
it
but
helped,
also
but
like,
it was the price and the used game stuff and then,
no, well, yes, but that forms the early adopter opinion that then gets spread wider.
Yes,
to people who don't know what the right RAM or wrong RAM is all about. All they hear is like, my guy who's really into games says the PlayStation's the one.
Right, but if that thing had been $200 more than the Xbox, it wouldn't have mattered. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes, a lot of factors lined up.
Yes, like those other factors were the keys, and then when you layer that on top of it, it's like, well, of course, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. So that environment was highly situational and not something that they can plan for, or not something they can bank on this time out.
Yes.
And then you've also got that battleground shifting further in that services direction. And
yeah, Microsoft is in a much stronger position with way, way better messaging this time.
Yeah, and then you've got Herman Holst out there saying, we're not doing that. I'm like, okay. Like, that's, you know, I don't think we're at a point where everyone has to do that, but you're out there signaling that you're not doing the thing that the competition is doing.
Yeah.
And that thing that the competition is doing is like a very convenient thing for their ecosystem. So what are you doing? I think becomes the question. Like, what is PlayStation 5 going to offer that sets it apart from competing products and from past generations?
Sure.
And what is the PlayStation Network going to become?
Yeah.
Do you think we still pay for PlayStation? Like, do you think we still pay for online gameplay next generation? Or do you think that
I mean, Microsoft clearly has been trying to move in the direction of rolling it all up into one service.
Yeah. So but as they do that, I think they get closer to where they can maybe just cross that one off the list of benefits and just say, hey, everyone can do this. Everyone can play these games online.
See that, sure.
Is it a right or is it a privilege?
PSN
PSN for all.
Yeah.
If they reach the volume of Game Pass subscriptions that it's like, all right, maybe the numbers line up now that we can afford to do this.
But also you've got
it's another differentiator from the competition.
Yeah, as you get more and more games that are going to be online only, server required, free to play, constant updates, like all this other stuff, like so many games are quote unquote online games that having to draw these weird boxes around it. It's like, well, you can see other players in the world, but you can't match with them unless you're paying. Like just weird cases like that. And what do you do for free to play? What do you do for this? Like, it would be an easier conversation, I think, if they both eliminated that from the feature set for their paid tiers.
It's possible. It's a lot of revenue to give up, though.
Also, especially once you start, especially in Microsoft's case, where you're putting these games out on PC, you're now saying, well, if you're playing on PC, you can just play.
Yeah.
But if you're playing on an Xbox, you have to have this additional tier of subscription to do this.
Well, as of right now, that's because they know they can't get away with that on the PC. Like, that would never fly.
But also, what I'm saying is, like, increasingly they shouldn't get away with it.
Yeah. I'm not making a moral judgment here. I'm just talking about what I think a corporation is likely to do.
Right. And I just think of it as, like, as this stuff converges, like what already seemed like a pretty ludicrous concept, now you're just like, why is it this way? So I wonder if that's something that's gonna change this time around.
Possibly.
Do we end up in a situation where one of them makes that change and the other one doesn't? And is that a weird differentiator that people are like, well, what the fuck? Like, why do I have to continue to pay to play online here? Yeah. Which is how the PS3 and 360 was, but then the PS3 online experience ended up sometimes a little janky.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, the thing Microsoft seems to be doing is just to make the value proposition of Game Pass so overwhelming,
right,
that who wouldn't want this? I think is where they're trying to get to. And then at that point, if it's just rolled into that service, then fine.
I think it's a better play for the people that are not decided about what consoles they would get if they eliminate that.
I could
make that available for everyone.
I could see that. All right. Next email. Lincoln from Melbourne, Australia. My house was burgled yesterday while I was at work. My car and Nintendo Switch were stolen.
Bummer.
I have the Switch Parental Controls app installed. The app only updates playtime after it is connected to the internet. Later last night, I received a usage notification. He included screenshots. The criminals downloaded the Trials Rising demo, played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for 35 minutes, and then left the screen on idle for 15 minutes. Unfortunately, the police cannot use this information to track down the perpetrators, and Nintendo's offices are closed for the weekend. So my question is, what type of person am I dealing with here? Can you please help me build a criminal profile?
It's someone who has no idea what video games even are.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I don't know, what does this thing even do? What can I do with this?
Trials Rising is a year old at this point. Yeah. So I'm going to say it's not somebody who keeps up with the latest.
Right.
But also, if it's a year old, how do they even find it in the store? Unless they were searching for it specifically.
Yeah.
So maybe they are interested in video games, but have not had the opportunity.
I think they do have a free downloads section.
Okay. Oh yeah,
it probably wouldn't have been more than like 5 or 6 in.
Okay,
who knows?
That's possible.
May have been on the first page.
Maybe they're just a huge Trials fan.
Yeah,
they saw the motorcycle and went like, "Oh hell yeah!"
Yeah,
no.
And then they were hoping for motorcycles in Mario Kart, but then you find out that it's not just motorcycles; it's also karts.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle fan.
Yeah. Okay, so we're dealing with a motorcycle fan.
But he stole a car. Didn't he?
Yeah, to trade for 2 motorcycles.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's an even wheeled exchange.
That's what they call those.
Yeah.
All right. John from Pennsylvania. Ben's story of a deadly slip and slide reminded me of something incredibly stupid we did in my neighborhood when I was a kid.
Weed.
Heroin.
A group of us came into possession of an old waterbed mattress, which, when blown up with a shop vac, basically became a giant balloon. Besides the obvious actions of trying to balance on top of it or jumping onto it from sheds or fences, the most popular choice was to have one person sit on a side while the rest of us tackled the other side at full speed, launching them into the air and eventually onto the ground.
Holy shit.
The fact that nobody was hurt amazes me to this day, but it kept our little neighborhood amused for at least a couple of weeks until it eventually sprang a leak. What stupid and potentially dangerous stuff did you do as kids to amuse yourselves?
Oh, nothing like that.
My neighbor and I got up to more trouble than I should admit.
Yeah,
we did a lot of BB gun, air rifle type stuff.
It was
questionable.
yeah, there's a certain aspect of this. It's just like
you weren't a kid.
People could have ended up dead.
Okay, we're not nearly that bad.
Yeah,
we did build one of those Drano aluminum foil bombs one time though.
That's cool.
That was pretty good.
We did bridge jumping, jump off bridges into the water.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah. All right.
I played Hot Hands and I set my friend's hands on fire.
Whoa,
that's hot.
But he had gloves on.
What is Hot Hands?
You know, like when you put your hands and you're supposed to hit your.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a flame involved.
Oh yeah, his hands were on fire.
Okay, wow,
It was great.
Jeez.
That's singed off some hair on my hands that still haven't grown back.
You didn't need it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
Streamlined. You're aerodynamic on the hands now.
Now I can press these buttons faster.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris in Tampa. I just got done watching the Half-Life Alyx IGN first gameplay reveal. And as I watched, I had this thought creep into my brain. Half-Life Alyx is just a fancy graphics trespasser. I couldn't unsee this. I couldn't unsee the similarities once I realized it, from Alyx calling out how many mags a gun has with, quote, feels like, to the way her hand grabs physics objects and the floaty motion of her gun hand. Am I crazy here?
VR would make Trespasser work.
Yeah,
I think is the actual solution there.
Yeah.
The actual thing there is that Trespasser was an idea ahead of its time.
Like extremely ahead of its time.
That could not be realized with the limitations of what hardware and what gaming was then.
Except for the boob tattoo.
Well, yeah, that's eternal.
This game does not have that, so it's not a true
that we know
Trespasser.
of.
Not genuinely
Maybe
a
it does.
Trespasser sequel.
I
I never played Trespasser.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's why I never played it.
Yeah.
Everybody just said it was a disaster that
but yes,
had some crazy ideas.
You could remake... well, I guess that's the thing, is you could remake Trespasser in VR, but it might be totally benign. You'd just be like, yep, I don't know, there's dinosaurs. And like, of course, I can do the VR shit. Like, it wouldn't stand out
yeah, actually,
in a weird
think
way.
about that. Yeah, like everything that it tried to do is just kind of a thing now.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is from David in Tucson. On a few streams over the last few weeks, the topic of Nintendo's somewhat empty release docket for the year has come up. Because I was also curious, I pulled together what's got confirmed dates versus what is unknown in terms of big releases for the Switch this year.
Great.
I'd be curious what you think may or may not hit, and what first-party stuff you'd like them to add to fill this out. Okay, so to date, Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore came out on January 17th. Fire Emblem Three Houses Cindered Shadows came out, which I assume is DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX just came out. Next up is Animal Crossing. Trials of Mana, which are they publishing that? He's got that on this list.
I believe so. Yeah, maybe they are. Yeah, I don't know.
Trials of Mana is late April, and that's all they've got dates on so far.
Wow.
So here's what is confirmed for this year. They have said is a 2020 release, but doesn't have a date yet. Bravely Default 2, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, No More Heroes 3, Deadly Premonition 2. Is that really this year?
Yeah.
Persona 5 Scramble, which just came out in Japan a few weeks ago, and Axiom Verge 2. And then, or maybe these are just games, period.
Yeah.
Maybe that would explain Trials of Mana. Maybe this is just all games.
Yeah, because Axiom Verge is not published by Nintendo.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so.
It's coming to other platforms.
And then here are the games that are announced, but they haven't even put a year on yet. Shin Megami Tensei for Switch, Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, and Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they end up calling it. And he says, I left out the various cross-platform titles and delayed platform ports because whatever.
Okay, so this is like exclusives, basically.
Yes. Oh, so was Axiom Verge 2 Switch only at first?
Oh, maybe it's first on Switch or something?
It might be.
I thought that he was out there saying, hey, this is also coming.
Oh, they announced it on a Direct.
They did, yeah.
So yeah, maybe it is a Switch only. Yeah. According to this, it is announced for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, weird. I could have sworn that that was one of those things where it gets announced on the Direct, but the developers out there saying like, hey, it's also coming to PC.
I mean, of course it will come to everything. Like that's, yeah. Who knows? Anyway. So his question was basically, what do we think will or will not come out? And what else would we like to see?
I would love to see Bayonetta this year.
Yeah, that one feels like it really kind of got announced and then just sort of forgotten about.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still working on it, but
I never forgot about you.
It got announced in 2017.
Wow.
So well over 2 years ago since they said it was coming.
It feels like it's time.
It's time?
It's time.
Okay. You're calling that one?
Yep.
Metroid Prime 4, no way.
No.
Definitely not. I could see Zelda coming out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
We're right around.
Holiday?
In fact, we may have just passed the 3-year mark since the last one came out. So yeah, like a holiday release would be pushing 4 years. That's plenty of time.
And they probably need some kind of like Q4 tentpole release. Like that's one.
Well, maybe it's not plenty of time. I shouldn't say that so confidently. Who knows what they're doing with it? But considering how much it looked like it's following on from the first one, you could see it making it out this year.
Of the games that are on that list.
Yeah, or I think he's even asking just like, what else might Nintendo do that you would like to see? New Pikmin. I don't even know about that. Feels like Pikmin kind of ran its course.
Right. Like I feel like the games that get brought up, like, oh, why aren't they doing another Kid Icarus or something? You know,
they should put out Wind Waker on Switch.
Sure. Yeah.
Why haven't they not done that?
Put out like a GBA player thing.
Okay.
Like
Start
virtual
adding
console.
GBA to the Switch or to the online service?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I'd be down for that.
of the games on that list, and you take that and you look at like what would like carry them through a holiday. I think that Zelda game is the only one that is big enough.
Definitely.
Well, Metroid also, but I really don't think Metroid's going to happen.
I mean, Bayonetta 3, I think, would be a good.
That's pretty
totally.
Big add-on
Bayonetta would be
holiday.
big, but that like if that was the one game added to that list, that wouldn't be enough.
Sure, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what other franchises they have not gone back to the well on.
Urban Champion,
Sure.
Gyromite 2 with Labo support.
Okay.
Like a new Wario game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether a 2D one or was it GameCube that 3D one came out on?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you don't mean like a Wario like platformer?
Either or. WarioWare.
Yeah.
Be cool too.
It still seems like there's precedent for them to just announce an Odyssey 2, a Mario Odyssey 2 out of nowhere. They did it last time. It's possible.
More Zelda and more Mario in those blueprints. I think doing both of them would look a little weird, especially if it was in a similar time frame.
Sure. I just can't think of much else that they just did Luigi's Mansion. Like they've kind of been iterating on all their stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like
F-Zero, perhaps.
Yeah, like there's stuff like
a while since
F-Zero or Punch Out.
Yeah.
Like there's things here and there that you could definitely revisit. But like again, neither of those are going to be huge Q4 things the way a Zelda is.
Yeah. And Nintendo's been pretty good about trying new stuff. It's just we obviously
ARMS 2
haven't. Yeah, right. But like we have no idea what new stuff they might be working on until they announce it. So. Stephen from Maryland. ARMS. I was recently re-listening to one of my favorite Bombcast bits when you all discovered the grassroots campaign on EA's Instagram page regarding Skate 4. I was curious to see if the furor remained, and sure enough, it does. I was delighted to find that every one of EA's recent Instagram posts is still full of comments about Skate 4. I don't really have a question. I just figured you should know that 4 years later, people are still clamoring for it.
Good.
Yeah.
Keep the groundswell.
Maybe one day.
Well, maybe this Tony Hawk game will happen.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention that in the news. There were a couple of late-breaking news stories that I totally forgot about. What was the...
a band called The Death Set, which I believe they are Australian, but are based in New York now, if I remember right.
Should I pull that up?
If you want.
Let's see.
There's Death Set posted something on their Facebook page, apparently. The thing got pulled down, but there's an archive.org link that still shows it.
Yeah, screenshot here.
Basically saying, we just licensed 5... So they have said they're working on a new album, which is like... I want to say it's their first album since like 2011, which would be crazy.
Oh, wow.
Because that last album was fucking good. Anyway, the statement is that they licensed 5 of their new songs to the new Tony Hawk 2020 game.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing them real soon.
Yes.
Which then got deleted. Or you know, I'm kind of coming to this late after it had been deleted, but there's an archive.org link that seems to indicate that it was a real post and not just something that got photoshopped up.
Yeah.
And so that's got people talking.
Sure. Keep trying to make Tony Hawk games.
And then, well, so then you've got a couple of different ways this could go, where, you know, Tony Hawk, I'm pretty sure he is no longer under contract with Activision. That contract expired. But you've got that story from a little while back of like Activision kind of internally showing either prototypes or like, hey, remakes of old Tony Hawk games, like that sort of stuff, where does that mean that they are looking to get back into business with Tony Hawk to do either remakes or another new game?
Right.
When you look at the groundswell of support for Skate 4, which EA seems to not be interested in making or capable of making, and then you've got Session XL and Skatebird and other kind of skateboarding games out there that people are interested in. And then you look at Activision, how much money they have made on like stuff like the Crash remake and Spyro and stuff like that. And then you look at Activision not really having a ton of other games. You start to put the corkboard lines together and go like, man, what if Activision is going to make a new Tony Hawk game?
Yeah.
Or what if this is another mobile Tony Hawk game, that like Tony Hawk Skate Jam or whatever the hell that other mobile game was.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be something like that. Also, why do you license 5 songs from the same band for one game?
Yeah.
Like what scenario? Like that's the part I can't figure out. Maybe they just did the deal and then they'll just pick one and come back but that part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. Unless you're making a gigantic skateboarding as a service Tony Hawk game, 150 skateboarders jumping. No, like I don't know. Because then you would need a vast soundtrack if you were suddenly making a gigantic skating world.
Sure.
Which I think would be cool, but I don't think they're actually doing that. So I don't know. Maybe that's legit.
World of Tony Hawk.
Seems like it.
I'm like kind of more excited that there's going to be another Death Set album than this Tony Hawk thing, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
A new Tony Hawk has a bit to prove at this point.
Yeah.
To be fair. Let's see here. I need to find another email. I don't have one ready.
That one.
That one.
I don't know
about that one.
Okay.
How about this one? Oh, I had one.
Where'd it go?
Here it is.
Escaped.
I found it.
It's loose in the system.
I pinned it down. It's from Rainer. There's been an influx of console mods recently. Drive replacements, HDMI outputs, RGB mods, IPS screens.
Yeah.
I've done the original GBA IPS replacement screen, and it's pretty easy and a fantastic mod, and I really recommend it to everyone. I also really want to do the Dreamcast HDMI and disc replacement mod. But somehow I feel like we're all ruining the consoles somehow. I get that drives fail and LCDs die, and for some consoles, it's the only way to play on original hardware at all. And rationally thinking, in some sense, it's like repainting a classic car and installing a more modern engine. But I feel like I should get 2 of the consoles and leave one original for posterity. Yeah. Do you ever feel like this, or am I just a bit too attached and crazy?
I think there's if that's the mindset, I could very easily see the case for I want to get one and keep it nice and original and stock, and then get one to to fuck with.
Yeah.
Like
I totally get it. I mean, granted I'm wretchedly sentimental about things, but I don't feel like I could bust open like my childhood Game Boy and do one of these. Like I would. I would much sooner like eBay an old used one and like harvest the guts out of that and do the mod on that than I would like crack open the thing that I grew up with.
Yeah, like I'm in a case where like my US launch Saturn, the drive on it's actually broken. So in that case,
if it doesn't work, then
like I could go get an ODE or something.
Yeah.
That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
I really love that all that stuff's happening.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. It's like kind of an amazing like golden age of homebrew or kind of like small time mods for old hardware.
Yeah.
Some of that Game Boy stuff is really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Brown had some of that stuff kicking around recently.
Some of those are nice because you could just eBay like a crappy old beater Game Boy because all you need is the actual the innards, the circuit boards and stuff, because like the housing is new, the screen is new, like all the outer part is new, so you just need to get the inside of a used one and build the new shell and stuff around it.
Yeah.
That stuff is pretty cool. I'm really just killing time until we get to all the 311 emails, but I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that we should mention here before, or I could just do it. I guess I should just do it.
2K is going to make NFL games.
Right. Okay. Yes, that was the other story that I skipped.
But not simulation games.
Sorry, I completely forgot about that as well.
Yeah. So not NFL 2K.
NFL and 2K. God, actually, that's kind of huge news. NFL and 2K announced partnership to produce multiple new video games.
Yeah.
That is, what is that, like a 15 years in the making?
Something
like that
yeah.
since EA had the exclusive NFL license?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah, it's specifically for non-simulation games. So
do they consider Madden a simulation game?
Yes.
That sounds weird.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I guess. It still seems like an action game to me, though. Like, granted, it's not full on like Blitz arcade style, but
right. But it's attempting to simulate the act of real football.
Well, yeah.
So whatever lines they've drawn around that, 2K can come in and say like, well, we've got a 5-on-5 game where they don't wear helmets.
Yeah.
Except the NFL would never let them do that.
Yeah, but you're not installing like new custom carburetors or drive shafts on your NFL players in Madden, so it's not a full simulation.
Yeah. But Cyberball,
okay,
you could very literally do that.
Partnership marks the return of football-themed games to 2K's stable of notable sports titles. This press release says.
I'm trying to think what that is. Just like some kind of mobile card-based game, some kind of arcade-style football game.
I'd be more interested in that.
Yeah. Like...
It's wide open, though.
This stuff is a ways off. This press release makes it sound like. It says the games will start releasing in Take-Two's 2022 fiscal year. So that's...
I wonder if this opens the door for, whenever that Madden contract comes up for renewal again, if they're kind of in the door with this other thing, if they can start to make a case to say like, hey, why don't you not do this exclusive deal and then you could have 2 football games.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm never going to play a football game, but it would be cool to see competition back in that space again.
Yeah.
I certainly remember how much people liked those Visual Concepts games back in the day.
Yeah. And if EA is really, FIFA is bigger for them now.
Yeah.
So.
God, that's crazy to think about, because I definitely remember a time at GameSpot when Madden was not just EA's biggest game, but it was like the biggest game.
Yeah.
It was like fucking covering Madden mattered more than just about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So you wonder at some point, like if EA looks at it and goes like, actually, for the amount of money it would take to keep this exclusive, it might not be worth it for us these days.
Sure.
Or worth less or whatever. Like I wonder what that business looks like.
Yeah. All right. I typed 311 into the search field.
Oh no.
There we go.
We can't.
I'm down.
It's not till tomorrow.
Well, that's good. Oh God. You're right.
Yeah.
Man, how timely.
Listen to this podcast tomorrow. As well as today, if you like.
I think the question posed was essentially, what do you like about 311? Is that more or less where that went last week?
I think sure, that's where that went.
Hey, if you're a fan of this band,
like why
give us your thoughts.
What could you possibly see in this band? They're a beautiful disaster.
These emails were like remarkably sort of polite and even keeled. Nobody seemed very particularly offended at the treatment that 311 received on this show last
I would
week.
assume if you're someone who likes 311, you're probably used to it by now.
I guess. Not all these are super positive, but
all right.
I've got a cross section
How
here.
could they be?
I am going to read these in no particular order. Here's one from Nick in Maryland.
Is this Nick from 311?
Probably.
Okay.
I was attending last year's Warped Tour in New Jersey, and 311 had a pretty prime time slot on the main stage.
That all checks out.
Through 2/3 of their hour-long set, one of the vocalists' microphones wasn't working even a little bit. Very few people in the crowd noticed or seemed to care at all. It was insane. My friends and I were stunned at how excited the crowd was to hear half of 311. Very strange.
Is that a reason to like the band?
I don't know. It doesn't even sound like he necessarily.
Yeah.
Dave from New Jersey. You most certainly did not ask for this, but my enjoyment of 311 comes down to 2 major things.
Major things.
Chad Sexton is a phenomenal rock drummer who has had a big impact on the way I play.
Okay.
Also, the weed doesn't hurt.
Okay.
That's
I mean, you could smoke weed to anything.
Having gone through a lot of these emails, I'll tell you that is a theme that you will see repeated.
Weed or the drumming?
The weed.
Oh.
Through quite a few of these. Let's see.
You don't need to listen. Like, honestly, like, you can still enjoy good art while getting high. You don't have to, like, debase yourself. Well, all right.
There was one. Let me see if I can find the one. There was one that I found pretty illuminating. Here it is. Okay, this is a good one from Dan in St. Louis, Missouri. I was a huge 311 fan back in the 90s to early 2000s. I even had a very shameful Nick Hexum goatee.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, it was. It was the time.
It was the time.
I understood the lyrics were terrible, the music was just okay, and that the perception of the band was as a bunch of stoner jocks. Like that was really the phrase that resonated with me. It was like stoner jocks. Okay,
yeah.
Now I'm starting to get it. But I needed the positivity in my life at that time. The way I describe the culture is one of incredible inclusiveness. Everyone is there to have a good time and dance and sing along to Who's Got the Herb while passing joints around the crowd. In a lot of ways, it is the less extreme version of the Juggalos.
Okay.
I saw the band roughly 10 times around the St. Louis area, usually co-headlining with some good acts, Jay-Z and the terrible Liquid Mix tour.
Wow.
In 2006, I went to 311 Day in Memphis. It was the only time I traveled for the band. They played a roughly 4-hour set by themselves.
Dude, shit. And like, I mean, good on them for having the material plus whatever covers they, like I can't imagine how 4-hour set.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's their day.
I would not have told you that 311. I would not have guessed that 311 had anywhere close to 3 hours of music.
It's their day.
They've got their own day.
Yeah. They played
what songs weren't they? All right.
Right.
They played a roughly 4-hour set.
Maybe.
Yes. They played a roughly 4-hour set by themselves. And like a priest removing a demon from a person, I left the show knowing I was done with 311. I've not seen them since. I've not heard any of their newer records. And besides a few random songs making it on my playlists, 311 is largely out of my life. It was a good time while I was in it, but I can't say I miss it.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a pretty good...
They swooped in at a good time. They gave you what you needed, and you got it.
And then as your 20s ended, you're like, what am I doing?
Right.
With my life, I mean.
Yeah. Andrew from Atlanta. My freshman year at college, one of my roommates did not show up for the first 2 weeks of school. When he finally arrived, we found out that the reason for this was that he had been arrested for selling weed at a 311 concert. I guess that stereotype tracks.
Yeah, it totally does.
Imagine being the cop that has to work the crowd at the 311 show. The undercover.
Like, yeah.
Running stings at the 311 show.
Jesus. That's terrible.
It's an email from Scott. Way back in 1996, myself and a couple of friends went to see 311 at the County Fair Amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
The Deftones were their opening band, and they destroyed that show. This was right after Adrenaline was released, and they were relatively unknown. The crowd was so amped up that when 311 came on, it was like someone ripped a wet fart into the mic.
Mm-hmm. No.
The crowd was so deflated and uncaring, I'm surprised they finished the show.
Whoa.
Have you ever been to a show where the opening band was better than the one you paid to see?
Everyone I played, motherfucker, except for the times I headlined. No, I'm not a big Deftones fan, but it's very easy for me to conceive of the idea of them blowing 311 off the fucking stage.
Deftones are all right.
Yeah, I don't. It's not really my thing.
Yeah,
but sure.
Let's see.
I went to a show where Donald Glover opened up for Erykah Badu, and then he did exponentially better than Erykah Badu because she seemed too cool for school to be there.
Donald Glover was hungry out there. Is what
yeah. This was pre him being super weird like he is now.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
This one came in, let's see, pretty recently. I didn't actually, let me skim this and make sure this is
fit for air.
Okay. All right. This seems all right. John from Wisconsin.
The crimes are not that crimey.
My good friend has 2 kids, and years ago when the kids were preschool aged, the standard punishment for misbehaving was a timeout. Go stand in the corner for a short period of time and think about what you did wrong. However, when they really misbehaved, there was an additional tier to the punishment. They had to listen to 311 while on timeout.
Man.
Oh boy.
I would call, you got to call CPS on that.
I vividly remember one evening when we were visiting and one of the kids did something ridiculously out of line and was sternly told, "You go stand in the corner and listen to 311 and think about what you've done." Followed by tears of disapproval.
Poor children.
I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Like that's a really, you run a real risk there.
Yeah.
Of like suddenly having a conversation one day of like, "Fuck you, Dad. I love 311. I always love 311."
Yeah.
It's never.
Which you never want that. You never want your child to come to you with that.
Okay, last one. Like that last one, this one came in since yesterday when I pulled all these emails, so I'm reading it kind of blind, but the subject line is just impossible to ignore. That time, Shaq landed a helicopter on stage to perform Psycho with 311.
What? I take it all back. All right.
You talking about 311 last week gave me an intense, vivid flashback to my childhood, circa early 2000s.
When my parents used to make me listen to...
My dad was and still is a massive 311 fan.
Dude.
Even if he was on the older side of the fan base for their time. When he was working or doing various projects in our basement, he had a television downstairs where he would put on recorded concert videos while he worked. Concerts ranged from everything from Green Day and Sublime and beyond. But I have a very distinct memory of this 311 concert he used to play. About halfway through the set, 311 asks the audience if they are fans of the Lakers.
What?
I believe it was an LA festival of some sort, so the crowd cheers a lot, and then, if my memory is correct, Shaq flies a helicopter overhead, lands it on the edge of the performance venue. This can't be real.
Oh, no, this is real. I just pulled up a video.
Shit. Runs to the stage, and they proceed to perform a special version of Psycho together.
What?
Oh, yeah. He has a link here. I had completely forgotten about this video until this past week, and I've had absolutely no luck finding any mention or recording of it on the internet, but I swear to God, it's real. The closest thing I found is this Instagram post, which has a video of Shaq at least performing Psycho with 311. So you found it?
Yeah.
Wow. Shaq in a helicopter?
I just typed Shaq 311. And that's the first result.
Man, you really got to work on your Google strategies.
Don't Bing it next time.
Okay. He says, yeah, please tell me one of you remembers this so I know I'm not completely insane.
It exists.
We verified it.
Now I want to watch this.
Yeah, there you go. There's your homework for the week. I'm going to stop.
Shaquille O'Neal is a better rapper than you might think.
I'm sure.
Or maybe people have come around on that now, and that's not a controversial opinion. But
I didn't know that was an opinion at all.
When he was rapping with the Fushnikins back in the day.
There are 21 emails about 311 here, counting the ones that we already read.
Okay.
Somebody sent in a
lot of staunch support.
Somebody sent in a 311 plus Chrono Trigger OC remix mashup.
Boy,
because of course, we should stop. That's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough of that.
Thank you for your 311 memories on this March 10th.
Yes.
In the clip I saw, for whatever reason, Shaq was bleeding from the mouth.
Whoa!
And I don't know why.
Because that's Psycho.
It is.
Shit.
Can't argue with that.
Cut himself.
Can't argue with that
on the way down.
Yeah. All right.
Shit, can I get out of this?
That's it for emails. Obviously, no after show today with Ben out on assignment.
Yeah, but we're gonna figure out what the next chunk of time here looks like. I don't even know. Like I'm saying, the next week, the next couple of weeks. Like I don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know where things are going here.
Yeah, but we're gonna
got ideas.
Stay out of the office, I think, for a bit while the health situation is what it is.
Try and make it up to you guys with lots of streaming.
Yeah, we'll be live on the internet trying to archive that stuff where we can and throwing stuff up and being in chat talking to y'all.
I'm not going to throw up. I don't know.
I'm going to throw up. I'm going to try to throw up live on camera.
You're going to do on stream, but I'm probably just going to play some video games.
Boring. I'm running puke games over here.
Boy.
It's a guy in a band locally that had a leaf blower, and he would throw up into the leaf blower, and it would shoot out the other end.
So Gigi Allen?
That's gross.
It was not Gigi Allen.
Twice, 2 weeks in a row, I think, that we've managed to mention Gigi Allen on this podcast.
His name was Lance, I believe, from a band called Schizo.
That is pretty schizo.
Hey, man, whatever you do on your shift is your business.
All right.
Everybody's
building this leaf blower, building an intake on this leaf blower.
Fair amount of creative freedom here. But, we'll figure out what that stuff looks like and
we'll bring you some Ori content.
Yeah,
we'll figure out what that it's. Yeah, we're gonna try to figure out if we can get some quick looks in this way and do some different things and
try some stuff.
Yeah, but we've got some goofy ideas about some different shit we can do. But that'll probably be starting up Wednesday.
Yeah,
and come hang out with us, assuming Chad is up.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
We'll all get through it together, I guess.
That's right.
East Coast is still
in the office.
As of now, yes. Although
who knows?
Feel like I've seen some questionable stuff about New York.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable stuff about New York. Am I right?
Whoa! Look, man,
that's true.
Already got 311 fans on our case.
311 fans in New York, the worst of both worlds.
Let's not get New Yorkers after us as well. That is a large contingent of people. All right, well, we're going to get out of here and go figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
And we'll be back very soon, like tomorrow, I guess, with some of that. So thanks for listening. We'll see you then. And we'll have some kind of podcast next week.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll figure
we got a week to figure it out. So
Discord's the thing.
See you then.